knows there are 20 managers in the Premier League, yeah? Well, actually, no. Around 3/4 of them are not managers.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Commercial vehicles built around your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Good afternoon, I'm Max Scott here with your sports headlines. Former Premier League ref Mark Halsey told talkSPORT absolutely no chance Lee should have had a penalty, and James Tarkowski's arm was in a natural position.
I think they guessed, and in this game you cannot guess. If you're not 100% sure, you don't give it. If he's 100% wrong, then VAR will get involved. But for me, it's all about knowing the laws of the game, and law 12, handling the ball, that is not a penalty.
David Moyes certainly felt the same, complaining Tarkowski would have to chop his arm off to avoid it. But talk about refereeing inconsistency. Simon Jordan's called out the inconsistency from managers.
So the inconsistency that managers deploy to the standards of refereeing is a challenging thing for me, because I understand he's frustrated and I understand he's put on the spot. But I guarantee you, if you reverse that situation and the penalty had been given to Everton, you wouldn't hear Pete from him.
For Everton, a night to forget, but a 20-minute cameo for Jack Grealish. He played off the left, but former captain Alan Stubbs wants him playing more centrally.
For me, number 10.
Me too.
I think you've got to give him a free rein to be able to drift and roam wherever he wants to. And I think deep down, that's where Jack wants to play.
And with the sledging already taking place in the media ahead of the Ashes this winter, Glenn McGrath's predicted a 5-0 whitewash for the Aussies. Shock. But Ben Duckett told us that won't deter England from playing their positive Bazball down under.
They know exactly how we're going to, go about things out there. It's not going to change just because it's an Ashes and it's in Australia. Hopefully we'll continue to play the cricket we played this summer, and I think it's going to be a pretty good series.
For the full interview with Duckett, head to the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel.
talkSPORT News.
The Prime Minister's chairing a meeting of European leaders after yesterday's White House summit on Ukraine, and a report says social media algorithms are pushing self-harm content to young people on a huge scale. More with Emma at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. With our wide range of services on offer, including tyres, MOTs, servicing and brakes, you can drive away happy every time.
Cloudy with some bright and sunny spells, some drizzle across north-east Scotland and England, a continued risk of heavy showers across south-west England.
Here we go. Not Hawksby and Baker, actually. This week it's going to be Kelly and Baker. As people like to say, Baker and Kelly reunited.
Unbelievable.
Hey, Charlie, how are you doing?
That'll never last. That'll never work, Danny. No one will ever hear those two names together.
No, I'm Danny Kelly, of course, sitting in for Paul. It's slouching in, really, for Paul, if I tell the truth. And Charlie Baker is here as well, which means, you can probably understand that the show will be a little bit freewheeling, which is great. We don't have quite as much of the Premier League, the big football, as yesterday, so we'll be going off to one or two odder places. Some great guests as well, comedians, cricketers, all sorts of people bringing you all the latest from the world of sport and its adjacent kind of hinterlands. It should be a belting 3 hours. Glad you're here for some of it. Hope you can stay for all of it. Welcome one, welcome all to Kelly and Baker here on talkSPORT. Now, Charlie, yesterday, you're supposed to, the sort of tradition is you ease into these radio shows and you save the big stuff for towards the end.
Yeah.
This is nonsense, of course. This is not the way it works. Yesterday, Andy said, so about 3:30, I'll be building up to doing my non-scientific Premier League table predictions.
Oh, okay, lovely.
We started with it because why wouldn't you? Because why wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course.
Now
How had he just done it on vibes or
just pure vibes?
Pure vibes.
Pure vibes.
Well,
Yeah.
Andy is a vibes guy.
Yeah, West Ham bottom.
Well, looking at will Graham Potter survive bonfire night? Will he get to bonfire night, Danny? Let alone Christmas.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. Although the Baroness Karen Brady she's got a different title now. She's got some slightly more phony baloney title above the car park and probably epaulets on her suits. But like the Russian, I wish I could have been in the Russian Navy. The big hats,
the big hat guys,
sensational.
And
yeah. Well, she's probably got one of those big hats. To say what she is now.
Yeah.
She's saying it's all going to be no problem. He's a great modern manager and all the rest of it. So I thought we'd go straight in the top today because yesterday, Charlie Baker, achieved sporting immortality. I suppose for the first time, maybe not. Who knows?
Oh, well, I bowled out a current professional cricketer, a person who has got a Test century for England v Sri Lanka. Which, when you get to play in these games, Danny, it's a thrill. Because
you were playing in some kind of Lord's Taverners.
It was a Lord's Taverners cricket match.
Presumably some kind of magnificent country house.
It was Wormsley Park, which is John Paul Getty's old gaff.
Oh, the old gaff of John Paul.
Yes, you know, of course. And you get to play in these things, and it's a real privilege, obviously, and it's a thrill. And when it's football, if you play against professional footballers of any level, of any vintage, you don't see the ball. You don't get the ball.
No.
You basically see the backs of footballers a lot. And then they give you the ball. You think, I've got the ball a lot, and then you realise, that's because they want you to have the ball because you're rubbish.
Yeah.
They know you're not going to do it. But with cricket, everyone's involved, right?
Right.
At all times, everyone's involved. You're fielding or you're batting or you're bowling, whatever's happening.
Fielding's not being involved, is it?
Well, not if you're at long on like I was.
No.
There's a lot of watching, chatting to the photographers.
Yes. You could. I mean, if you brought your binoculars, you'd be better off bird watching that far away from the action, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
But none of which is bringing us to the great
No.
moments.
Of course. So I got one. I got one run from 17.
I've seen a photograph of you being bowled neck and crop, as they say, middle stump. I think it's fair to say. Yeah.
Which will lead me on to something a little bit later on, Danny. But for this wicket, so I got 4 overs. They said you can have 4 overs, and I was like, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
I always back myself with the ball.
What kind of bowling?
It's off 3 paces, and I try and spin it. It never spins, but it...
Would you say you're better or worse than Andy Jacobs?
Andy's got a lot more experience than I have of playing in this sort of game as well. So,
okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what our averages are.
I've only ever heard
I expect we're as bad as each other, is the way you would say.
Well, he actually claims to have some skill, and I don't doubt it, but... the one time we did an outside broadcast where a talkSPORT team was taking part, you were playing in the game.
Oh, yes.
In Richmond Park. Of course, I was presenting from a pub because it was sponsored by Green King.
Yeah.
I couldn't see Andy's bowling. I could only hear it because he was mic'd up. And he got thrashed to all points of the compass.
He was up against like Geraint Jones or something.
People who won the Ashes.
And this is always the worry. So I was the over before me was some comedian was bowled out, and I was like, oh, go there. And then in comes current Middlesex player, 127 versus Sri Lanka in his second test. I think the only man to score a century in March, Sam Robson.
Right, Sam Robson.
Sam Robson is in bat, heralded, and I'm like, I've now have to bowl my 4 overs against Sam Robson.
Right.
First ball, Danny. Send one down.
Yeah.
He thought he could cope with it.
Oh, yeah.
He thought he could cope with it.
Thought is easy.
He thought he could cope with Baker, Danny. But could he?
No.
Could he? He went to slog it. I'm calling it a slog.
Yeah.
He went to slog it for 6, thinking, I'll deal with this early.
Yeah.
Don't
knock you off your rhythm. Yeah.
Exactly.
No,
knock me.
Yeah.
But he didn't expect it.
No.
It turned. It was like Shane Warne's ball of the century.
Okay.
It turned against Gatting. It turned. It hit a rough patch that I was aiming for. Definitely aiming for.
Definitely for.
I'm
not question.
Not just hoping to hit the pitch at all. Huh? It turned. Hit. Sam Robson hits it for 6. It goes in the sky, and then Matt Floyd from Sky Sports over his shoulder, both hands on it. We took Sam Robson.
Do you know what? So historic was this that we can actually hear it now.
Oh, that's nice.
Charlie Baker into the attack. An economical run-up, let's put it that way. I mean, run-up is probably pushing it. Paul.
Oh, he's got him.
Oh, he's got him.
Oh, that's a massive wicket. And in no way whatsoever did Sam Robson just give his wicket away in the interest of this game. No siree, Bob. He was trying to smash that to Kingdom Come. Is it Charlie Baker? It's Matt Floyd with the cat. Put your hands together for Sam Robson.
Yeah, with hands together for Sam Robson. And what about the bowler?
Yeah, what is Norcroft on about
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
I mean, look, I'm sure Sam Robson was not taking it as heavily as I was, but...
Why would you say that?
What a thrill.
Professional cricketer, yeah, absolutely.
What a thrill, Danny. And I believe you have... you don't want to bring it up, but I believe you have a Michael Schumacher story.
You don't want to bring it up, and you don't want to be topping people this early in the show, particularly not someone as funny as you, because there might be comedy retaliation. But I have got one amazing claim to sporting fame. Back in the day, and there is a slightly sad element to this because of what's happened to Michael Schumacher, and God bless him and his family.
Of course, yeah.
But back in the day when he was current and multiple world champion, I went to Germany to meet him. They were unveiling the new Ferrari in a place called Kerpen, where he's from. Yeah. And there were about 20 journalists, and we all got 10 minutes with him. And we all got given very nice watches.
Oh, did you?
By one of the sponsors. Yeah, it was very good. But then they said, OK, before lunch, we're going to, because it wasn't after lunch, before lunch, we're going to have, Michael had bought the go-kart circuit on which he had learned to drive. Oh, right. So we're going to have a go-kart race. Michael will start last on the grid. And then, and even in those days, I'm 6'2" and pretty well upholstered. We won't have a qualifying tournament. We'll do it by weights. The heaviest person will go on the front of the grid, and so we're at the back. So I'm on the front of the grid. Okay. A lot of titches there, a lot of titches. And off we go. I remember distinctly, it was 8 laps of this track. And after 6.5 laps, Michael, of course, had overtaken, undertaken everybody else except me. Now, Michael doesn't understand 2 things about me. 1, I'm working class, and 2, I learned to drive in London. So for the next lap and a half, I just blocked him. I didn't go as fast as I could. I went at medium speed and blocked any possible overtaking manoeuvre. And of course, he can't risk a crash and a fireball, can he?
He can't risk that.
No.
He can't risk that, Dan.
So I won, and if I'd known we were going to do this, Charlie, I've got at home a little tiny trophy that says I beat Michael Schumacher.
Are you doing medals on the table,
Oh,
Danny?
yeah. Yes, of course. Well, hang on, I didn't have any commentary like you. It wasn't. He came to work, ladies and gentlemen, armed with commentary. I'm surprised there wasn't drone footage.
There'll be footage. I'll get footage by Thursday. Don't worry about that.
All right. Well, listen.
Can I just say we had a wonderful day out. It was all in the name of the Lord's Taverners,
absolutely,
which is a brilliant charity that supports young people and disadvantaged people into getting into cricket. Fantastic charity.
And I would say the same thing about that event in Kerpen. It was all about me showing off, and that was everyone liked that a great deal. Listen, we'll try and get on to some serious stuff in a very short while. In fact, we'll be joined next by Simon Grayson. You'll remember him as a very, very fine footballer for Leeds and Leicester and others. But he's now the new manager of Hartlepool, who've had, let's be honest, a roller coaster few years. And we'll talk to Simon next here on, Kelly and Baker.
towards the near post, flicked on by Stroud, cleared off the line by O'Brien at the far post before it could reach Tanaka.
21 shots, but could have been a few more on target. Definitely also in the offense a bit more quality.
That performance in the first half wasn't good, no.
You look at the likes at Ndai, Shrewsbury Hall, Alcaraz, they've not touched the ball, they've not been in the game.
Everton simply not ready for the start of the season. They look like Alan Brazil at the end of Cheltenham week, a mess.
It's into low ball into Gnonto, turns, spins, hits the side netting.
The home stadium always has to be a fortress if you want to achieve anything. That
the Stack encouraged to shoot. He does shoot, takes a deflection. Did it hit a hand of Tarkowski? It might have done, Looked like he's arms are away. Yes, it's a penalty.
Against Tarkowski's arms as close to his body as he could probably have it. I don't think it was the on-field referee. I think it was VAR who's given it, and I think that was wrong.
Metcher, the new signing, steps up, right footed into the corner, and Leeds United lead against Everton and finally have the breakthrough.
But I love that from my strikers. No, I'm having it, and then calm as you like. No chance for Jordan Pickford.
And now you're going to hear the real Leeds United fans come out. Now you're going to hear it.
I predict a riot. Welcome back to the Premier League, Leeds United. Nights like this, when Ellen Road is thumping. Leeds United 1, Everton 0.
Wow. Yeah, Leeds back in the Premier League and back with a victory.
And Alan Brazil catching strays in Adrian Durham's...
Nice modern parlance. Very good. Liked it a lot. Very good. Dark kids will be down with that. Very good. Listen, he played for Leeds. He managed Leeds. These days, he's the manager of Hartlepool, having had an adventure on the Indian subcontinent that I really want to hear about as well. Delighted to say we're joined by fine football and good manager too, Simon Grayson. Hello, Simon.
Hello, Simon.
Hi, good afternoon.
First and foremost, I'm going to get on to Hartlepool very, very soon. How important, you played and managed at Leeds, how important for the club is it that it's in the Premier League again?
Oh, look, you only have to speak to the supporters and they're delighted Leeds are back in there because what they bring to the party is such away grounds. The atmosphere is even better. Ellen Road is obviously rocking on a regular basis, and it is a big brand worldwide as well. So it's not just in this country where Leeds are popular and big. It's Europe and beyond as well, and that's been proved. 50,000 supporters in Dublin a couple of weeks ago. Went to Stockholm and did similar things as well. So yeah, everybody's delighted to be back in the Premier League, especially Leeds United supporters.
Yeah, 100 points last season, and it really important they carried on that momentum into the Premier League, which they seemed to do last night.
Yeah, look, I think it was a real good fixture when it came out. I think Ellen Road under the lights is a special atmosphere anywhere, but then you're playing against an Everton team that probably, if you're being honest, isn't probably where David Moyes wants it to be. You've got Jack Grealish, obviously, just been in recently, so not up to full speed. Other injuries in their back line as well. So I think it was a great fixture. But they came out the traps really well, dominated the first half. Daniel did that with the team last year on so many occasions where the Blue Championship teams away. Look, they're not going to be able to do that by blowing teams away in the Premier League, but at least it sets a precedent, playing on the front foot, stopping the opposition from having a foothold in the game as such. And it was an unbelievable atmosphere. I was at the game last night and it was certainly rocking, and it'd be like that every week.
Simon, as a staunch defender yourself, I think you wouldn't have been very happy to have that penalty given against you.
Well, seeing as I'm a Leeds fan, I was quite happy that it did go.
Sure, but it wasn't, was it?
But if you're looking at it, if I'm David Moyes, then I'm disappointed with it because Tarkowski he's got his hands by his side. Yeah, he's leant into it to probably stop it more with his chest than his arm. But yeah, sometimes these decisions go for you, against you, and the rubber, the green didn't go for Everton last night. But as a Leeds fan, we're more than happy with that.
Which, if you're Hartlepool in the National League or anywhere below the Premier League, actually, and there's no VAR, and it's just a referee that gets it wrong, as a fan, you hate it, but you accept it because you accept that it's one person's word against yours. A human mistake. But when it's VAR and it goes through three different people all to make that decision, that's why fans and players and managers feel so sawn off, I think.
Yeah, that's the argument, isn't it, with VAR, that sort of it always has been up to the last few years sort of one man's decision, the referee. You get them right, you get them wrong, you get the look of the green sometimes. I think last night there was a lot of people in the Leeds crowd that were a bit anxious when it was taking so long to justify whether it was a penalty or give or not, and that's what VAR has brought to the game. Look, there's some good points from it, but I'm not quite sure I'm in total agreement with it all, if I'm being honest.
Simon, I'd like to talk to you a little later about your adventures in India and Nepal recently, but now you're the manager of Hartlepool United, a great and historic club, of course. Has had its ups and downs in recent years. What are you hoping to achieve up there now? Yeah,
look, I went there in the summer, and I just felt it's underachieved the last few years, and just decided I've done a lot of EFL games. I just wanted to do something different. That's why I went to India and Nepal recently. But yeah, I just think that it's an underachieving football club that has got potential to try and get at least into the playoffs this year, and if you can manage to do that, it's an improvement. But once you're in the playoffs, you might be able to get promoted. So I think a big factor as well was it's a lot closer to the home than India and Nepal was. To be fair,
well, we shouldn't underestimate your achievements out there, because you won the title in Nepal and you're also with the Indian club Bengaluru. Let me ask you very quickly about that, because we know that cricket dominates the sporting landscape in India, and of course there are so many people. That means it's an extraordinarily successful and wealthy sport. Can you see progress in soccer, in football in India and Nepal? Could they become world powers in the foreseeable future?
Look, there's the opportunity, but I still don't think they're going to be anywhere near it. Even this season hasn't started in India because there's been some decision making with the FA out there of a few bits and bobs which I'm not fully up to speed with. But it's sort of the infrastructure still needs sorting out. Behind the scenes needs sorting out. There's some good players out there, but I think it's still a long way from sort of getting to where the potential is, because there's a lot of huge fan base of different Premier League clubs out there. Even in the ISL, there's ranging from 7 to 25, 50,000 in some games. So they've got a huge amount of opportunity, and obviously the population in India is huge. It's just a long way behind. The national team is still not in the top 100, so it just shows you there's a lot of work still to be done, and ultimately they've still got that big competition with the cricket, which I don't think they'll ever be able to compete with.
No. But you talk about things being badly run on occasion, much nearer to home and nearer to you, and of course you did play for them briefly. What do you make of what's going on at Sheffield Wednesday? I mean, I'm not from the north of England, but I love football. My heart is breaking. This is a historic club, and it looks like it's being ripped apart now.
Yeah, a lot of this has been going on for a number of years now, hasn't it? Where there seems to all be something going wrong with that football club. The best outcome that can happen there is Chanzari decides to get out of the club, sells it, and brings some new energy, some new positivity around to Sheffield Wednesday, because it's a huge football club. It's got unbelievable fan base, history and tradition. It's just been stifled over the last few years with the ownership. And again, I think if this can get resolved very quickly, then Sheffield Wednesday fans will be delighted and be able to move on, because having this sort of anxiety hanging over everybody it's not good for any football club.
Back to Leeds United, a slightly different challenge on Saturday away at Arsenal in the 5:30 kickoff. Daniel Farke, he's been talked about as a really good Championship manager who seems to struggle in the Premier League. Great test for him this Saturday, just the second game in.
Yeah, look, that's been thrown at Daniel, but he's probably never had the money to back him in the past. At Leeds, he's been given some decent money and got some good players in. Last night was a winnable game, and everybody would have been disappointed if we not got anything out of it. Obviously, delighted they got the win and the 3 points, because it settles everybody down. Arsenal this weekend is probably a freebie as such, because they're a fantastic squad. They're going to be challenging again for the title, never mind sort of anything else. So I think Leeds will go there with sort of a pressure-free opportunity to go and nick something as well. So I think they'll go there belief that they can get result, but if they don't, I don't think it'll be the end of the world.
And Simon, I want to thank you for joining us, because you're a pretty busy bloke, because you're playing tonight at Altrincham. What are you hoping for? I mean, that on paper looks like a good challenge for Hartlepool United.
Yeah, look, we've started the season well. We went to Yeovil and got a good 0-0 draw down there, and won at the weekend 2-0 against Braintree. So, yeah, going to Altrincham won't be easy, but we think we've got a good squad that we've put together, and we'll hopefully be challenging come the end of the season. You're going to this weekend and you're playing Saturday and Monday, and we travel from Hartlepool to Southend on
Wow.
Sunday. So,
it's a long old season in the National League, Simon. As a Torquay fan, I've been National League and National League South, and it is a lot of games and a lot of Tuesdays and Saturdays. But I think you're built for that, Simon.
Well, yes. I think we went to Yeovil recently, and it took me less time to get to India than it did to Yeovil.
Hartlepool to Yeovil. Oh, yeah, it's a long way.
Yeah. So I'm glad you won there, because Charlie likes to hear of any other teams from the southwest other than Torquay getting beaten. So that was good. Listen, Simon, good luck tonight.
Good luck, Simon.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. Simon Grayson there, the Hartlepool manager, which would have been a standing joke for schoolboys back in the past, but that's a great club. These
great club.
That have existed for 100, 150 years on the sweat and toil of the local community and all the rest of it. I can't have it that they're not as important as Tottenham Hotspur, for instance, to give you an example, because they just are. Great to hear from Simon there. Up next, we've got an interesting guest for us. Riley Meredith is playing. He's an Australian cricketer, of course, playing for the Welsh Fire in the 100, and he's involved in a campaign to try and get more people across the communities, really, involved in cricket as a way of keeping fit, even if you're not going to be a professional and find yourself being bowled out by Charlie, but on audio and apparently also on video very, very soon.
I'd like to know, actually, from listeners, if they've ever bowled out or played against someone famous and just got one over a professional. When did you get one over a professional sports person? 8-10-89.
8-10-89, absolutely. Because I think Paul's, in his heart of hearts, thinks he can beat almost any darts player, doesn't he?
He's good at darts.
Yes, he is.
We'll say he's good at darts.
He is, but he thinks he can beat the professionals, doesn't he? Listen, we'll come back to him. Riley Meredith is our next guest. Looking forward to talking to him here on talkSPORT.
When was the last time you saw someone score with a knuckleball free kick? We're going to take a look at why we're not seeing them anymore and explain a bit about how they work. The knuckleball peaked in the 2010s after that Ronaldo strike against Portsmouth in 2008 inspired academy players everywhere. Here's a young Mason Mount.
I tried to base my free kick on Ronaldo, hit the ball by the valve and it moves. So what do you do? Top corner.
Now, no ball is perfectly aerodynamic, so as it travels it creates ever-changing pockets of turbulent air, causing that unpredictable movement. Football's most prolific free kick taker, Juninho Pernambucano, perfected the technique but didn't invent it. He was inspired by players from the 90s and even the 50s. So how do you do it? You have to hit the ball head on with as short a contact time as possible so the ball doesn't spin. Hitting by the valve helps with that short contact time, as it's the hardest part of the football. So why don't we see knuckleballs much anymore? It's because players are being told not to shoot from dead ball situations because the XG is so low. In fact, as Opta shows here, since the 08-09 season there's been a 10% reduction in players shooting from free kicks in the Premier League. And in 23-24, a record low of 11 free kicks found the back of the net. And the knuckleball, though spectacular, is imprecise, which is why it's becoming a thing of the past.
Yeah, you're listening to Kelly and Baker on talkSPORT in partnership with Toolstation. This summer, shop Toolstation's award-winning Hawksmoor lawnmower range in-store, on app and online. Next stop, Toolstation.
Next stop, Toolstation, Danny. Toby from Maidenhead says, I once played cricket against a legendary Welsh footballer when he was playing for Wales over 50s. I was giving him a gentle sledging, calling him the lollipop man, as he was working as one. Everyone has to have a job, you know.
Yep.
He then smashed the ball right at me and it hit me in the kneecap. I rolled on the floor in pain whilst he laughed at me. Serves you right, Toby, to be honest.
Team Lollipop here.
Team Lollipop all day long, all day long.
Don't be mocking the older gents, so come on.
Lennon Harmison, the 15-year-old nephew of Steve, is an off-spinner for Ashington Cricket Club. Clean bowled ex-Australian Ashes winger Marcus North in a cup semi-final last Sunday. There we are, up the mighty acorns. I don't think that's where he bowled him. Up the mighty acorns. I think he's saying, go the mighty acorns.
I got slightly distracted there because Russell Martin was on the screen above your head, and you two could be related.
But there is people say that all the time. There's a similarity. I think I could do as good a job as well.
You're there.
I could do as good a job at Rangers, I reckon, Danny.
Well, we'll see how his multiple passing out from the back goes in Scotland over the months. Listen, cricket, of course. Charlie was telling us about his adventures at the top of the show, and of course, this winter sees the Ashes down under. Watching that, no doubt, with great deal of interest is these days former Australian international cricketer, but also these days playing for the Welsh Fire in the 100. I'm delighted to say we're joined by Riley Meredith. Hello, Riley.
Hey, Riley.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah, good.
Really good. First of all, congratulations on that moustache. Superb.
Well done, yeah.
Absolutely superb. Yep.
Is that a legal requirement these days for Australian cricketers
and rugby scrum halves?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Did you see Australia against South Africa at the weekend? What a victory! Unbelievable. Riley, but you mean you're here because you want to tell us about a campaign with KP Snacks, who is encouraging people to get fit through getting more people across the entire spectrum involved in cricket as just a keep fit activity. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's the Everyone In campaign. It's a really good initiative from KP Snacks, just sort of getting families active through cricket, I suppose. I believe they've installed 100 pitches with into grassroots cricket clubs across Wales and England. So, it's a great campaign, and I'm really right behind it.
Well, what's the single biggest drawback, I guess, Riley, to, for instance, football is a really easy game. You put down not jumpers these days, but expensive cagoules and a ball, and you're off and running. Is it finding places to play and equipment to play with that's the issue for getting more people involved with cricket?
Yeah, definitely both of those. I think, obviously pitches is probably the biggest thing. More grounds available, the more opportunity there is for teams and families to have a game. But obviously gear's also a bit of a tough one sometimes. So to have the 100 pitches installed across Wales and England is definitely a massive part of it.
And also, you can't just go and play cricket with any old bat and tape ball and as many of your mates as possible. You don't need all the gear all the time to actually enjoy the game, do you, Riley? Exactly.
Yeah, that's a great way. That's probably the way most of us get into cricket, to be honest. A bit of just take your bat and ball and have fun with a couple of your mates or your family. So, it's a good thing to have the pitches available.
Riley, I suppose you already know this because it's no doubt absolutely rocketing through the cricket community. But yesterday, Charlie here took the wicket of Sam Robson in a charity match.
Really?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard about that, actually. So,
it was for the Zero Ducks Given podcast match, and I'm sure, Riley, that it'll get through to you eventually. When you play in a charity match and you are the pro, it must be a pure nightmare because everybody gets out eventually. So, does Joe Public give it you in the ear, Riley, if they get you, or do you let people get you out?
Yeah, it's a bit of a lose-lose situation, isn't it? Everyone's trying to get you out, but they also want to see you do well. So it's a bit of a tricky one. You got to, play the cards right, I suppose. But I'm sure he was trying and you just got the better of him on the day.
What was your journey into professional cricket then, Riley? Were you always a good all-round sports person, or did you always focus on cricket? When did you think, I'm going to be a pro?
A little bit. Obviously, played a fair few sports as a kid. Played Aussie rules football and cricket were my two main ones. But Aussie rules footy was probably a little bit violent for me. Couldn't really hack the bumps and niggles. So thought cricket was a bit easier and was probably a bit better at it as well.
A Freudian slip there, Aussie rules cricket. We'll see some of that in the Ashes.
Yeah, I hope so.
The Australian rules, there's different rules.
Let me just remind people before we move on to the Ashes that the campaign through KP is called Everybody In. I'm sure if you look it up on the internet, you'll see what Riley's been talking about as they've been, helping gather up pitches and equipment for people to get involved. Inspiring families through cricket, I suppose, is the message now. Meanwhile, Riley, England cricketer Ben Duckett joined Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoist on breakfast this morning. He spoke about facing the Australian bowling attack in the Ashes. Oh, good, it's only November, isn't it?
The Aussies, their attack are unbelievable. And certainly in their own backyard, we know how difficult it's going to be. But the good thing is we've all played them. I've said this in previous interviews about other teams, and it's not that, that makes it any easier, but you do kind of know what you're coming up against, and there's no surprises. So, look, they know exactly how we're going to, go about things out there. It's not going to change just because it's an Ashes and it's in Australia. Hopefully we'll continue to play the cricket we played this summer, and I think it's going to be a pretty good series.
So, Riley, I have a feeling that if perhaps the tests were in 18 months' time, most of the Australian attack might be retired. But they're not, and they're great. McGrath, as always, says 5-0 to Australia. Do you agree?
It is going to be an unbelievable series to watch. So,
well, not if it's 5-0, it won't be.
Yeah, well, that's true. No, I think England have got a really good squad, to be fair. They've been playing some really good test cricket. So, I think, 5-0 will be a tough ask for Australia, but we'll see what happens.
Do you enjoy watching the way England, they usually decide they want to bat fourth, which is against all tradition over 150 years of test cricket, and they've been running up and scoring and some huge fourth innings totals. Do you enjoy the way England go about it, Riley?
Yeah, it's been good to watch, obviously, very attacking brand. But I guess we'll see if it's become successful in Australia in a few months' time.
You don't seem to have a great deal of belief in that being the case, Riley. If you don't mind me saying that, I can see your face.
Riley knows where he's living at the moment.
Yeah.
Although if you walk around Wales playing for the Welsh Fire and say England are going to get drubbed, they might quite like that.
Oh, you get a pint. They'll buy you a pint for sure.
They'll like that. How are you getting on in the 100 at the moment, Riley? Are you playing well? Are you doing well? I think you're 6th at the moment, but there's still time to go.
Yeah, no, really enjoying it actually. It's first time in the 100, first time playing, so it's been, a really good experience. But yeah, just sitting 6th on the table at the moment. 4 games left, so we'll be trying to win every game possible and hopefully make the finals, which will be nice.
Riley, you play the game now all over the world in the franchises. Is it enjoyable? Is that an enjoyable way to make your living compared to playing, 25 years ago, you'd have been playing, 4-day cricket and Test cricket only? Or is it you have to sometimes, as you walk out into to bat, you're wondering, which ground is this again? Where am I playing?
Who do I love? Which badge am I going to kiss?
Yeah.
Yeah, true. It is definitely quite different, but, it's awesome to experience different parts of the world for a good amount of time. I mean, I've been over in the UK now for 3 or 4 months. Absolutely love it. So, it's great to be able to come over here, play for a couple of different teams and meet some, fantastic cricketers and some fantastic guys. So, yeah, I really love it.
So with the Everyone In campaign with KP, if people are going to get into bowling or batting or all-round cricket, what's your number one tip? Riley, what's your number one tip for
be Australian
burgeoning cricketers?
I mean, I think just have fun. I think that's, still what I try and do every day when I'm training or playing. Go out there and have fun. Obviously, I'm playing in front of nice crowd here in Wales, but wherever I'm doing, I'm just trying to have fun, and that brings out the best in me usually.
Listen, it's been an absolute joy to talk to you, Riley. Really, thank you very, very much indeed for informing us about the Everyone In campaign and the fun you're having playing cricket in Wales. Riley Meredith there, everybody.
Yeah, very nice.
And I was hoping that his moustache was a tribute to the Australian scrum half. Did you see the rugby test match at the weekend?
Yeah, well,
South Africa, world champions. Ellis Park is like a fortress. They were 22 points up.
They were 22-0 and they lost.
22-0 in the first 20 minutes. And then Australia ran in 34 unanswered points. And I'm telling you what now, if you re-ran the British and Irish Lions against Australia now, I'm not so certain it will be a victory for our locals.
Too late, I'm afraid, Danny.
It was incredible what the Australians were doing. Next up, Ben Jacobs will join us. He's talkSPORT. It says transfer reporter here. He's a czar. He's a transfer czar at the very least. And he'll be telling us all about the latest for Eberici Eze, Mark Gahey, Johan Visser, and a whole lot others. You're listening to talkSPORT with me, Danny Kelly, and him, Charlie Baker. I mean, serious question. Why would we listen to anything else? Truthful. Well, the transfer window, it's not closing yet, but you can begin to hear the creak of the hinges as it gets ready to slap down. Reminder, as the annual reminder, that once on a phone-in show, a man rang up to say that he had convinced his lady wife that the transfer window was a real thing at FA headquarters and that players had to get in through it in order to register. And she had gone with this and indeed repeated it at a dinner.
That would be better.
Yes.
Imagine instead of the fax machine at midnight.
Hilarious
transfer
fax
window.
machine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you got. Peter Rod and Wingy knocking on the window.
Yeah, and you have to get your fingers underneath those sort of brass hooks that the windows have to lift sash windows to lift it up. Come on, Pete, get in, mate. Come on, it's raining. Get in out of there.
And when it's too small for a human, that's when they can just start sliding deal sheets. In through the slot.
Or very, very small, technically gifted midfielders can just about make it underneath the window as it's closing.
Harvey Elliott, just make it through.
All this, of course, will seem like nonsense to somebody taking the transfer window very, very serious indeed. That's Ben Jacobs, talkSPORT's transfer. I'm going to call him Czar. I think that's best.
Why not?
Hello, Ben. How are you?
Czar, guru, call me what you like. Good afternoon.
That's nice.
Well, you just got here, reporter. I mean, goodness, you're not just stood around, are you? You know, you're digging these things out. Now, with my
Danny, ask him.
With my Spurs hat on. How many more days is it going to take Spurs to extricate poor Eberechi Eze from Crystal Palace? It seems like it's been about 100 so far.
How many more hours or minutes might be the pertinent question, because our understanding exclusively on talkSPORT is that Tottenham today have reached a verbal agreement with Crystal Palace for Eberechi Eze. Few small details remaining. One is the fact that Crystal Palace is still seeking a replacement, and two is obviously that they're preparing for a game in the UEFA Conference League, and Oliver Glasner said that Eze would be a part of that. So I sense there's two aspects to this. The club-to-club, which verbally is done, players agreed terms, but then don't forget that replacement aspect as well, because having the full deal doesn't mean you can just go and do a medical unless Crystal Palace get another one through the door. And they're negotiating with Leicester City's Bilal Al-Khanous. He's not the only target, but that's what's made this a little bit complicated, because Crystal Palace almost had the agreement with Tottenham in place and done before their Premier League opener, that 0-0 draw against Leicester. But naturally, again, if they can't get another attacking midfielder in, then there's a fair chance that Eze keeps playing. But Tottenham are confident that this one is now going to get done imminently.
My friend James Gill, who's a comedian and a very funny man and a Crystal Palace fan, is gutted about this, Ben and Danny, because he says, I don't mind if my wife leaves me for Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
But she's leaving me for Tony next door. Which I'm not expecting you to answer here, Danny, but
I'm livid.
But you're livid. But I suppose it's the Champions League that has got him.
It's Tottenham
looking
Hotspur
next door.
Football Club.
Or is it Spurs? Is it, Danny?
With their history, their stadium, their fans, a third of a million of which you saw in the streets of North London not so very long ago.
Okay, you believe the hype.
Listen, will Crystal Palace let Eze and Mark Gahey go in the same transfer window, Ben?
Yeah, I think so. The ramifications are probably more on Adam Wharton or Mateta even, but Crystal Palace want to sell Mark Gahey. Make no mistake about that, even though we hear some reports that there's a haggling between Liverpool and Crystal Palace. Steve Parish and Richard Hughes have got an excellent relationship, and I think that if Gahey decides he doesn't want to play every week for Crystal Palace and decide his future as a free transfer after the World Cup, then eventually with that full player buy-in to move now into a more competitive Liverpool team, an agreement can be reached between Crystal Palace and Liverpool. Palace have started at 50 million at the beginning of the window, 45 in the middle of the window. Now their asking price is close to 40. Liverpool want to do the deal much closer to 30, but there's not a massive gulf in valuation. It's all just going to come down to whether or not Gahey actually wants to go now, knowing that he might be guaranteed less minutes in a World Cup year. Talks are ongoing between Liverpool and Crystal Palace, and Palace are prepared to sanction an Eze and a Gahey exit, but if both go, then I don't see many others exiting between now and when the window shuts.
Brentford were, I thought, dreadful at the weekend and looked like relegation fodder at the moment. Could have done with Johan Wissa, but looks like he'll never play for Brentford again. Where do you think he's going, Ben?
Well, I think Johan Wissa is looking to join Newcastle United, and he's trying and forcing that move. But the reality is very different because he's contracted at Brentford. They've set a very high asking price, and Dango Ouattara coming in is seen as a Brian Mbeumo replacement. So Brentford's perspective is they need another number 9, or alternatively, there has to be a fee in the region of 60 million, which is a huge number for a player that's 28 years of age and has only got 1 year left on his contract, plus a club option of a further year. But Wissa yesterday deleted all of his Brentford social media. He changed his profile picture on Instagram to a black circle. And all of this is clearly a message from Wissa that he wants this probably once in a career opportunity to go and play Champions League football with Newcastle. I think we're going to get clarity in the next 24, 48 hours. Newcastle are either going to come to the table with a bid and it's going to get done, or they're going to give up because time is running out, and then Wissa might have to start to reintegrate, knowing that his only option might be Brentford due to the fact that at the moment, Keith Andrews and the Brentford hierarchy simply don't want to sell. So it's obviously got parallels with the Alexander Isak situation, and we'll have to wait and see now whether club power or player power wins.
I have a bit slightly theory on this, that Thomas Frank is exceptional at coaching forwards, and which is great news for Spurs, Danny, and that then maybe they'll go away and they won't be quite as good, but it's great news for Spurs because I think he's going to get a tune out of all yours.
Yeah, I mean, look, Brentford have done brilliant in the last few years. How much of that is down to the fantastic recruitment, how much is down to the coach? But you're absolutely right. They look like if they don't make a great start, then things could be a real problem for them. One or two players, a Premier League great, Jamie Vardy, still without a club, Ben, and Donnarumma, a current great and world great, still with no obvious way out of Paris Saint-Germain. What's going to happen in those two situations?
Yeah, Donnarumma and PSG are done in PSG's eyes, but time is running out and PSG want something in the region of £40 million for the goalkeeper, so important in their Champions League win last season. And yet, Lucas Chevalier's come in and he's suddenly the number 2 at the football club. So I think the price will drop for Donnarumma in the final 2 weeks or so of the window, and he will exit. If Ederson goes to Galatasaray, Donnarumma's likely to join Man City. If Ederson stays, then Donnarumma's going to have to find another club very quickly. We're told by sources Man United and Chelsea are not in the race. Donnarumma would like to move to the Premier League. So it looks like he's going all in the hope that Manchester City do sell Ederson, and then in likelihood he'll be the number 1 goalkeeper at Manchester City.
I suppose, though, Ben, that the Galatasaray thing, Donnarumma's massive wages is less of a problem because of the tax breaks for foreign players in Turkey. So that I think that brings that into the possibilities as well.
Yeah, the player terms are not a problem. I'm told Ederson is very open to Galatasaray. It's more about can they agree a fee with Manchester City. I think the original offer was only around 10 or 50 million euros, and Manchester City want a bit higher. But what I also think is that the Ederson potential exit is being delayed, and Galatasaray are waiting whilst Manchester City hold talks with Donnarumma and PSG. And if they've got confidence that Donnarumma can be agreed and for far less than 40 million, then they may well still sanction that Ederson exit between now and the end of the window.
Okay, well, listen, Ben, I know that all your work gets poured into the transfer blog at talksport.com, which I've now got open on my phone for news that Eberechi Eze is actually going to be a Spurs player, please God, sometime in the near future. No disrespect to Crystal Palace, but Charlie, there is a difference between the two clubs, whatever your mate says. The first hour of the show has flown by. If you've enjoyed listening as much as we've enjoyed doing it, then you're having a blast. More to come very, very soon here on talkSPORT. some fantastic stuff coming up in the second hour, including tractor pulling and a full programme of League One and League Two football here in England. That's all after we've had the news and sport that comes to you now from Max Scott.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Commercial vehicles that go the distance for your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Thank you, Danny. Good afternoon. A big development for Eberechi Eze. talkSPORT understands Spurs are edging closer to a full agreement for the Palace man in a deal worth £60 million. But our transfer reporter Ben Jacobs has told us there's still a few hurdles to get over with this one.
One is the fact that Crystal Palace are still seeking a replacement, and two is obviously that they're preparing for a game in the UEFA Conference League, and Oliver Glasner said that Eze would be a part of that. So I sense there's two aspects to this: the club to club, which verbally is done, players agreed terms, but then don't forget that replacement aspect as well.
In other transfer news, Wolves have signed right wing-back Jackson Chichua from Hellas Verona. Meanwhile, Noah Okafor is heading for a medical at Leeds. They'll pay AC Milan around £17 million for the Swiss forward. Speaking of Leeds, should they have had a penalty against Everton last night? Absolutely no chance, according to former Premier League ref Mark Halsey. He's told us Chris Kavanagh had a total guess with that call and got it wrong.
If he moves his arm away from his body and the ball hits him on the head, then yes, you can justify a penalty. But he doesn't. I mean, that is a natural position. And what's he supposed to do? Where's he supposed to put his arms?
And Ben Duckett's told talkSPORT he's got absolutely no concerns over Jacob Bethel, captain in England, and the 21-year-old is mature beyond his years. Bethel will become England's youngest ever captain on the T20 Tour of Ireland.
It's going to be an experience more than anything. You know, he knows that, you know, when he plays for England again, it's going to be under Harry Brooks. So, you know, he's got the likes of Josh Butler there with him, who's going to help him out, I'm sure, on the field.
Jared Kimber and David Lloyd get into which ground is the hardest to bat on, up on talkSPORT's cricket YouTube channel now.
talkSPORT News.
Donald Trump says he won't send US troops to Ukraine, even though he offered Zelensky security guarantees during their meeting last night. And dangerous algorithms online mean children as young as 6 are seeing harmful sexual content. More with Emma at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Heatwave outside, oven inside. Stay cool this summer with a free aircon check. Book online or visit your local QuickFit today.
Cloudy with some bright or sunny spells, some drizzle across northeast Scotland, a continued risk of heavy showers across southwest England.
Keep on running.
Stevie Wonder, not a song you hear very often. Keep on running from his Where I'm Coming From album. No.
Which album is it from?
I think it's from Where I'm Coming From, the transition album between finger popping teenage Stevie and the kind of mad funk superhero that we got to, in 71, 72, 73. And it's because, welcome back for everybody to Kelly and Baker. We're going to talk about running in just a second. Just to warn you that coming up, to advise you with great delight that coming up in the second hour of today's programme, Ian Danter will join us in a little while to talk about the full programme in the League One and League Two in the English Football League. Alex Goldberg, American broadcaster and Chelsea fan, you heard a lot of him during the World Club Championship, will come to tell us about what has been the effect of the World Club Championship on soccer, quote, in America, and indeed on Chelsea's start to the season. And we're going to be joined by Patrick Eibel. I hope that's how he pronounces his surname. He's at the 2025 World Truck Pulling Championship.
Yeah, great.
Which is the one where men get harnessed to Mack trucks, MAN trucks, and you've got another name. What's the other name of the big trucks?
Scania. There it is, Scania.
And try and pull them. But first, we've got a new feature for you. I think there's a bit of music coming about it in a second. It's called Danny's Detours. Have we got a thing for that?
Well, that was the Stevie Wonder.
Oh, that was Stevie Wonder. Okay, right.
Yeah, sure.
And this,
I'll hear it again. It's great.
It's a great LP.
When you bear in mind he's playing every single instrument on this song as well.
Yeah. Listen, this will normally be something stupid, Danny's Detours, where I go off on some, something about popular culture or something that I want to bring to your attention. But, Charlie, this really is something that's bothering me hugely, and that is, it's a serious thing in this sport, the disappearance of athletics from the national consciousness. I shocked you and my colleagues through the glass there at a meeting. I said, so you're all looking forward to the World Athletics Championship? And you went, everyone said, when is that? And I said, in 4 weeks' time in Tokyo. The World Athletics Championship in 4 weeks' time. It might as well be on Mars in about 1,000 years' time, because nobody has any clue about it anymore. Athletics has disappeared, hasn't it?
They've moved it from the summer. It used to be in the summer. Am I right? I'm sure I've spent many Edinburgh festivals getting through that by watching the World Athletics Championship.
It's gone a bit later in the year. It got moved during COVID, and it's
okay. And it stayed there, yeah.
Because I think it gives people a chance to take part. You couldn't really do both the Golden League, the
Diamond
and
League,
the Diamond League, sorry, and the World Championship. You get caught up in it. But the disappearance of athletics from the national consciousness is a horrible thing to happen. Because I can tell you now, Charlie, Britain's athletics team is really good.
Yeah.
And I expect Keely Hodgson, I suppose, Hodgkinson is the exception to the rule, isn't she? She is Sports Personality of the Year.
She was, yeah.
But of course, she's tremendously brilliant and tremendously photogenic. So those two things have added into that. But Georgia Hunter-Bell will get a medal in one of either the 800 and 1500 metres. Josh Kerr is the defending men's 1500 metres world champion. Zarnell Hughes is running up incredible times in the short sprints. Molly Cowdery will one day break through in the pole vault. This could easily be this tournament. We've got two great relay teams. Just for the hell of it as well, while we're at it, Ireland has got their best athletics team in ever, actually. But I want to see Rashida Adeleke win a medal in the sprints. I want to see Kate O'Connor in the heptathlon, where she's likely to win a medal in the World Championship. But it's all disappeared. And I'm going to test you a little bit here.
Okay.
Because arguably, in the last couple of months, but you wouldn't know it from the newspapers or indeed from talkSPORT, the most incredible athlete in England coming through for Great Britain right now, she's from the town of Beer. I bet you know where Beer is.
Beer is North Devon, sort of outside Seaton, I think it is.
I'm not sure exactly, but nobody's more proud Devonian than you.
No, yeah.
But Ines Fitzgerald is from Beer in Devon.
Yeah.
She's 19 years of age, and she's a runner. She's a middle-distance runner. At the recent European Under-20s Championships, she won the 3,000 and the 5,000 metres. Now, bear this in mind. In the 3,000 metres, she broke the championship record that has stood for 32 years. In the 5,000 metres, she beat the record previously held by Zola Budd. That'll tell you how long that has stood for.
Was that 80, 82, 83, 80, something like that?
She's 19. If Ines was a footballer, she'd already be an international superstar and be on the front of every magazine. But because athletics has disappeared, for whatever sets of reasons, and I know it's not on the terrestrial television and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
So that's my first thing. Just
why is it, Danny? You're a media mover and shaker. You've many years of experience. Why do you think that is? Just the finances?
Yeah, I think the big companies. It's easy to show athletics. You don't need so many cameras. It's in a very contained space, really. Yeah. So it's good for television companies, so they like it. And of course, it takes up a whole day. A bit like cricket. They love cricket. Because you've got half a dozen cameras and you've got the whole day's worth of broadcasting sorted out. I also think, we've got to be honest, athletics has got its own issues with presentation because I think the track and particularly the field events, they can be a little bit difficult to make sexy in the modern parlance. But of course, then you've got things going on like Michael Johnson tried to address this in the last 2 or 3 months with his Grand Slam athletics series over the United States, where there was no field events. I watched it all with great interest on the television, but the great runners of the day were paid huge amounts to run 2 events each time, the one they were good at and one that they might be a bit less great at. And I could see what it was trying to do. They had the great and the good. Steve Cram did the commentaries. They were in the big collegiate stadia, so it wasn't like they were being run in parks or anything. It was awful.
Yeah.
Somehow the lack of competition, knowing who was going to be in each race before they started, no qualification, and then watching people not quite in their comfort zone, it just didn't work. And then, of course, as we know, the last instalment of the series was cancelled. Michael himself declared it all a great success, but I suspect there were financial issues as well. So I don't know what the answer is, Charlie.
We saw it sort of with the Club World Cup in many ways. If there's not legitimate sporting history to it, legitimate sporting heritage to it, then it's very difficult to make it feel like a legitimate sporting event.
Exactly right, because let's be fair, the people who won each of the instalments of the Grand Slam got $1 million.
Yeah,
so there was something going on with it. Although I
don't know if you saw Sprint on Netflix. Did you see that
No.
documentary series? So that was following the 100-meter runners, men and women, around the world and what they do, and it did humanise them. It did make you interested. When it came to the Olympics just gone in Paris, I knew who these people were. So you do have your favourites and your goodies and your baddies and all that. So I don't know if that's what's happened with athletics, is that there's less humanisation of people.
I suspect as well that the sport itself got complacent because for 50 years, from the 50s through to the turn of the century, it was always on the television. It dominated coverage, and it let itself get kind of complacent. And it hasn't done the marketing it needs to do. There's also problems like the Commonwealth Games is also coming up on these islands very soon up in Scotland. Transferred from Victoria and cut from about 20 sports to 9 because of the sheer expense of putting them on. And the Olympic Games itself, which is the centrepiece of athletics, is the centrepiece of it, is a bloated, ridiculous thing now. I could go on Mastermind and answer questions on the history of the Olympic Games, and I mean that, Charlie. That's probably after reggae music in the 1960s and 70s. That would be my chosen subject. But you can't pretend the Olympics is not ridiculous now, where whole economies depend on it becoming successful and all the rest of it. That's nonsense. And so I think athletics needs to represent itself. It can be done. If you can make darts sexy again, you can make athletics sexy. But that's my detour for today. My genuine hope that the one sport where you can genuinely measure who is fastest, who is strongest,
no opinion
who jumps
involved,
highest, no VAR, because clearly that bloke, that girl, has breasted the tape first. And that fella there has jumped over that pole before anybody, and nobody else can do it. It's a pure sport, and I think it's dreadful if it's going to be lost. But also, I want you to all follow Ines Fitzgerald, because she looks like she's going to be a superstar. Now, the British Athletics Authority's got a real big decision to make here. She has got the qualifying times for the World Championship, but she is, as I say, she's 19 years of age. I think they should sling her into the team, because 19-year-olds can improve 10% in an afternoon, can't they? And she could easily do very, very well in the World Championship in the 5,000 metres. I think they should give her a go and see what happens.
And if not for this one, take her for take a Theo Walcott type.
Absolutely, take her along and let her run the heats. And if she doesn't do so well, that's fine. You, meanwhile, need to go down to beer and find out all about her.
Only here for the beer. Very nice.
Make a documentary about Devon's greatest athlete, I think is fair to say. Right, pause.
Lovely, Danny. I enjoyed the detour.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to pour this water because of the new studio and how it's all expensive and it's gleaming. Normally, I'd pour water over myself now to calm myself down. But I have been explicitly, those who were listening yesterday know I poured a whole small bottle of water over my front trying to get it open.
Oh, very nice.
So I've been explicitly banned from opening the water and drinking it on air for fear that an old fool will drown himself. But to show what a rebel I am, there I am.
He's doing it on air. Unbelievable. There we are.
Lovely. More detour tomorrow. Yeah, you're listening to Baker and Kelly. No, we're not. We're listening to Kelly and Baker on talkSPORT in partnership with Toolstation. This summer, shop Toolstation's award-winning Hawksmoor lawnmower range, in-store, on-app and online. Next stop, Toolstation. Charlie, we haven't got time, but later on we'll talk about it. I'm the lucky owner of one of those ride-on lawnmowers. Very quickly.
Envious.
Yeah, I've got quite a bit of grass at the back of the house up the hill to cut. And occasionally I'm out in the front, big bloke on a small tractor, driving around. And one of the local tractors, one of the real farmers, will go by with a tractor with all four wheels are about 8 feet high, carrying, if you're from Devon, carrying towing some enormous machine behind it. And I always give him a nod, as though we're doing the same thing.
Hello, brother.
Yeah, welcome to agricultural mates, aren't we? Yeah, they ignore me. God, they ignore me. Listen, we can't ignore Ian Dante. Of course, he is an expert on and commentator on all of our football. Tonight, we've got a full programme in Leagues 1 and 2. Good afternoon, Ian.
Hey, Dance.
Hello, chaps. How are you?
Yeah,
very good indeed. Now, first one I want to talk about, if I may, be careful what you say because Andy Brassell listens to talkSPORT all through the day. AFC Wimbledon, his team, take on second place Cardiff with, I guess, both sides having arrived in the league from different directions, having different kind of priorities.
Yeah, well, AFC have adjusted quite nicely, I think it's fair to say, to life back in League One under Johnny Jackson. Decent start. Matty Stevens back amongst the goals for the Dons. But it will be a test at the Cherry Red records tonight against Cardiff because after the disappointment of relegation when they didn't really put up much of a fight in those latter weeks of the Championship season, Brian Barry Murphy came in. I saw their first game of the season, Danny, at home to Peterborough, and I was impressed with a lot of what Cardiff did. I think Ruben Colwill is far too good for League One. I think he's a terrific attacking midfielder. So AFC Wimbledon will have their work cut out tonight. That's a proper test for them coming up.
Yeah, proper Yorkshire derby, Huddersfield v Doncaster tonight, Dance.
Yes, that's 7th against 5th, Charlie. So you've got some good games towards the top of the fledgling table, if you believe in tables at this point in the season. Huddersfield actually suffered their first defeat of the season at struggling Blackpool on Saturday, which was a little odd because I saw them put out Leicester in the Carabao Cup just last Wednesday and played really well in doing that. Doncaster, they, just like AFC Wimbledon, they've adjusted really nicely to going up a league. Grant McCann has done a terrific job as manager, and they've still got the veteran Billy Sharp knocking in the goals, although the one I think he got on Saturday was an absolute gift. But nevertheless, you can only put the ball where it's meant to go. So, yeah, that's a good, proper Yorkshire derby that is tonight. And Huddersfield, they are amongst the anti-post favourites for promotion. So, you might just lean towards them perhaps on that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, Yorkshire people will support their individual clubs, but the Yorkshire Post needs some good news from Huddersfield because of what's happening at Sheffield Wednesday. Dan, it's funny how quickly football moves, isn't it? We're all remembering Luton and their kind of prosaic, picturesque ground in the Premier League. That all seems like a million years ago now. A terrible season last season and a poor start again this. And tonight they take on Wigan.
Yeah, they're back-to-back defeats for the Hatters in League and Cup, which might cause Matt Bloomfield a bit of concern. They're in 9th. Wigan are in 8th, just above them. They've got themselves a good goal scorer from Kilmarnock. Fraser Murray's got a couple already since joining the Latics. So, Luton have lost a few players. Carlton Morris has stayed in the Championship and gone to Derby. So, Matt Bloomfield's he's a canny operator, Danny, at this level. He was doing so well with Wycombe before he got spirited away by Luton. And I could actually see signs, even though Luton went down, you could see signs in those last few weeks that there was, if he'd had a few more weeks in charge, I sensed that Luton might just have got themselves out the brown stuff. But, I wouldn't bet against Luton being there or thereabouts. They've still got parachute money after all from 2 years ago.
Top of League One, Stevenage, 3 wins out of 3. Jamie Reid scoring goals for fun. They're at Port Vale tonight.
They've got the only 100% record, Stevenage, in League One, at least. And what was really good about Stevenage last year was their clean sheet record. I think they kept 17 clean sheets. There was only 4 teams who kept more than they did, even though they finished sort of mid-table. Alex Ravel's still their manager for a second season. So, yeah, Stevenage, I think that's a bit of a surprise for most to see them starting as well as they have. They'll be looking to keep that going. And Port Vale, under Darren Moore, again, another team promoted from League Two, and not quite as strong a start as the other 2 teams we mentioned, but nevertheless, Vale Park will prove a tricky test for Stevenage Borough tonight.
Adrian Durham will be presenting tonight's Round the Grounds in Leagues 1 and 2, hoping, I presume, that, frankly, Peterborough can't do any worse than how they started, can they? They've got to pick up.
Yeah. I think whenever I see Adrian and we talk Peterborough, that you can just see that sort of defeat in his eyes.
3 games played, no points.
No points. It's not great. They're one of 3 teams who have no points so far. I'm off to watch another one of those teams now, heading down to Charlie's favourite, Plymouth, to go and watch them take on Leyton Orient tonight. But Peterborough...
they got no points, Dan, so I hadn't noticed. They keep getting drubbed every... I hadn't noticed they keep getting thrashed.
You're not scrolling down far enough, Charlie. That's your problem. So for Peterborough, they've had some problems at the start of the season. Bila Kapic, the first-choice goalkeeper, didn't look confident, so he's been replaced by Vicente Reyes, who Darren Ferguson got in on loan. I think he made some quip, Danny, that if they played mannequins, they wouldn't have beaten them in one of their early games, which is a pretty damning indictment. And they've got Barnsley coming to London Road tonight. And Barnsley, they've got David McGoldrick, who they brought in, who had a year at Notts County. Davis Keeler-Dunn, one of the most talented midfielders in the division. So it could be another tricky night for the Posh, I'm afraid to say.
They need to get off to a bad start so they can sack Darren Ferguson, so they can get him back in at the end of the season.
Yeah, because
otherwise, if you don't sack him in the first place, you can't get him back in for the.
He can't do 2 successive seasons.
It's just not how it works, Dance. So you need to do one before you do the other one.
What are the outstanding stories in League 2 so far, Ian?
Well, you've got Crewe and Chesterfield with 100% records so far, Danny. Crewe, they've got an interesting game tonight. They're at Fleetwood Town, who themselves have started well. They're in 5th. Will Davis has got 3 and 3 for the Cod Army. Top scorer in the division so far after he joined from Sutton United. Whilst Chesterfield, they go to Gillingham. Now, they might be 13th, Gillingham, but they haven't lost yet in the league. Couple of draws in there. So that's by no means a gimme for Paul Cook and Chesterfield, who did well last season, on the fringes of things. Got into the playoffs and lost to Walsall in the semi-finals. Walsall, who, of course, suffered the heartache of missing out on automatic and then losing the playoff final to Wimbledon. They appear to have got over that hangover all right. Yeah. They're taking on Grimsby tonight, so that's 7th against 4th. Grimsby weren't far off the playoffs last season under Paul Hurst. The other story, it's like deja vu for Cheltenham fans, boys, because last year in League One, you might remember it took them till October to score a league goal. And unfortunately, it's happening again, a division further down the ranks. Michael Flint's in charge these days. They take on Bromley tonight at Wadden Road. So, they're desperate for lightning not to strike twice so they can get something in August, for goodness sake.
There's nothing in them from Bromley. They're a tough team. They're a big, tough team. They won't win that tonight, I don't think. I think Cheltenham need to do something because it's... they did win in the Carabao, though, didn't they? They beat Exeter City in the Carabao.
That's right.
Oh, so, Exeter City got beaten, did they?
Not that I noticed, Dance.
No, that's
not that I hate watched that.
No.
Ian, talk to me about Stockport County. I only asked because one of my very, very best friends is a fanatical Stockport County supporter. They've got they've got pretty well resourced club these days. Yeah. They should be right in there again in League One.
Dave Challoner is a terrific manager. He's got them through from National League up to League One. They were unlucky not to get through. They took on Leyton Orient and lost in the playoff semi-finals last year. They've lost one or two players. Tonto Alafi's gone, but they've still got Kyle Wootton, who's a terrific goal scorer. I went to Stockport a couple of times last year, Danny, and there's a fellow Danny Bergara has now got a statue outside Edgeley Park in his honour for all the incredible work he did as a manager for that club. And there is a real feel-good factor about what Dave Challoner is trying to do, sort of trying to match the achievements of Danny Bergara, getting them into the championship. I don't know what Stockport's glass ceiling is, but I think championship's well within their grasp. And I think League One is, generally speaking, because the heavy spenders of Birmingham and Wrexham have gone, I think it evens out the division that little bit more. Although, as I mentioned earlier, you've got Luton with all that parachute money they're holding on to. Whether that translates into as much of a gap as Birmingham created, I'm not sure. But I think a team like Stockport will be looking at teams like Wrexham and Birmingham disappearing and kind of rubbing their hands and going, all right, we can have this.
Yeah, League One's great this year, I think, because of that, yeah.
And Ian, I wouldn't ask you for champions because it's too early and it's too difficult, but from both leagues, League One and League Two, pick a team that you're pretty sure will get automatic promotion.
Okay, from League One, I would probably go for Huddersfield Town.
Yeah.
They bought Alfie May off my club for 1.2 million, and he should guarantee you goals throughout the season. I think he scored 17 last year. So I go Huddersfield in League One. League Two, oh boy. Maybe I'll go Chesterfield and Paul Cook, actually, having sort of got into the playoffs last year, sort of a continuity of performances and results. Maybe they can go on and
good manager
and get the job done this year in League Two.
Well, listen, Ian, thank you very much for all your expertise there. Yeah. Don't forget to join us at 7 o'clock for kickoff here on talkSPORT with Adrian Durham, Mickey Gray and Charlie Adam. Adrian Durham with all the goals as they go in from both the EFL and the Champions League playoffs. Don't forget, we'll be talking about that as well a little later in the show. That includes that huge game between Rangers and Club Brugge, Huddersfield against Doncaster, and the aforementioned Stockport, who are at home to Bradford tonight. So 7 o'clock, the fun starts, and we'll take you through all those competitions right here on the mighty, mighty talkSPORT.
When was the last time you saw someone score with a knuckleball free kick? We're going to take a look at why we're not seeing them anymore and explain a bit about how they work. The knuckleball peaked in the 2010s after that Ronaldo strike against Portsmouth in 2008 inspired academy players everywhere. Here's a young Mason Mount.
I tried to base my free kick on Ronaldo, hit the ball by the valve and it moves. So what do you do? Top corner.
Now, no ball is perfectly aerodynamic, so as it travels it creates ever-changing pockets of turbulent air, causing that unpredictable movement. Football's most prolific free-kick taker, Juninho Pernambucano, perfected the technique but didn't invent it. He was inspired by players from the 90s and even the 50s. So how do you do it? You have to hit the ball head-on with as short a contact time as possible so the ball doesn't spin. Hitting by the valve helps with that short contact time, as it's the hardest part of the football. So why don't we see knuckleballs much anymore? It's because players are being told not to shoot from dead ball situations because the XG is so low. In fact, as Opta shows here, since the 08-09 season there's been a 10% reduction in players shooting from free kicks in the Premier League. And in 23-24, a record low of 11 free kicks found the back of the net. And the knuckleball, though spectacular, is imprecise, which is why it's becoming a thing of the past.
Got pretty...
Obviously, you've had... and, you know, these things are incremental, aren't they? The arrival of Son Heung-min, who... we're maybe 5% past his very best, because I watch him every week with Spurs, but he's a global superstar. I mean, you can't believe how big he is in Asia until you actually go there and see what his face does in advertising terms and all the rest of it. But he's another building block for the MLS.
Yeah, he is, absolutely. It's, you know, the MLS is always going to need to rely on names to some extent.
Of course.
Right? Like, it is nice, I guess, if you can have the reverse, where you have the young players like Kevon Sullivan, who's at Philadelphia Union, and now City are signing him. If you can do that end of it as well, where you can have like it be a facilitator league as well. Great, but you're going to be relying on the names. When David Villa went to New York City FC, did really well. That really helped. And Son, like you said, it's a massive name, so it helps.
Chelsea won, of course, the Club World Cup, and we saw their gold stars on their shirts at the
Alex
weekend.
fixed that, by the way. Alex made sure they won. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I thought they looked blunt at the weekend, if I'm honest. I don't know if that was because of the Club World Cup. They were tired and a bit leggy, but I thought they looked blunt despite having spent a few quid on some strikers.
Yeah, leggy's a good word. I do think they were a bit leggy. I mean, guys like Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez especially just played so much the Club World Cup. Caicedo's a bit of an energizer bunny, right? I don't think he actually has a stamina rate. But Enzo is probably somebody that needed a bit of a rest. Yeah. Didn't play much in our 2 preseason games. He looked leggy. I think it was multifaceted, though, as to why we struggled. I think Crystal Palace deserved credit. Glasner really sets them up well. They obviously had an important game the week before in the Community Shield against Liverpool. So they were already kind of ready for like a superior team and, just to make life tough for Chelsea. And then I also think the human element's there, right? Like you just battered PSG in a final. You might go into that game thinking we got this. Like we're at home. We've done really well in preseason. We're probably going to just barrel over Palace, and Palace.
Premier League doesn't run like that, does it?
It doesn't.
It just doesn't.
It doesn't.
Well, listen, that's your expert opinion, but Chelsea boss Enzo Maresca was asked after the game, the 0-0 draw with Palace on Sunday, about this exact subject of taking part in the Club World Cup over the summer had affected the team's performance.
No, because I think we compete until the end. We had 2-3 chances at the end of the game, so that showed that we are okay. Probably it's just because it was the first real game for us. Also, the temperature today was quite warm. But overall, I think it was a good performance from the team.
I thought that was a lovely bit of irony. We spent the whole of the Club World Cup worrying about the temperatures in stadiums. Some of the grounds in the first week of the Premier League were roasting.
Yeah.
Weather out of our control.
Danny made a great point in the pre-show meeting, which was that Chelsea seem to have all these players, and they have a high turnover of players, and then a lot of young players coming in. Eventually, they're going to have to choose an 11 and stick with an 11. Yeah. Oh, well, 15 these days. Stick with a 15 and go with it for a number of games. Otherwise, if you're constantly turning over the squad, then you'll never get that championship winning mentality.
Yeah, and as lovely as it is to make transfers, one of the best acquisitions you can make is continuity, right? Just having an 11 together. I think Palace are benefited from that they have a lot of players that have just played with each other a lot. It's weird because we are kind of building a core now where Caicedo's played a lot of games with Enzo, who's played a lot of games with Palmer. Reece James is back fit, playing more. Marc Cucurella has been brilliant for us. So they have played a lot together. But now you have a Levi Colwill injury. So now all of a sudden, Joshua Chempong, a 19-year-old, has to get used.
Did really well, I thought.
He did do well. I think he shut out Mateta, which is really difficult to do. Yeah. But now all of a sudden, we have new wingers. We have Estevao. We have Gittins. We might be getting Garnacho, Xavi Simons. So although we're excited about the young players we're acquiring, you're spot on that, you won't get to the level you want to get to until they literally know how to play together. It's all about timing, too. They don't even know each other's timing yet. So
I sometimes wonder, but no disrespect at all, whether teenage football fans are more interested in transfers than the actual games these days. There's such a fuss around them. But I can tell you, watching Spurs' activities, the biggest signing they've made this summer is getting Christian Romero to re-sign. It's not exciting. It's the same player you already had, but keeping him at the club is just huge. There's been a lot of controversy this morning, Alex, about whether Chelsea, this thing of having the World Championship badge on their shirts. I don't see the problem myself because it is a fact they won that tournament. Yes, but it's leaving them open to, in this country, to tremendous jip from opposition fans.
Yeah, I read that article. Listen, I'm going to be very biased on this one. I'm going to say they hate us because they ain't us. I'm going to say that I can proudly wear that for 4 years. We are champions of the world. Listen, I understand that definitely in the UK, especially for club fan bases, I'll take a pop at Arsenal here, right, who were not part of that tournament. Yeah. They looked at this tournament like a preseason friendly tournament, right? But I would say if you were at that tournament, so Paris,
as it progressed,
people's
minds changed, didn't they?
They did. Even there were some Chelsea fans who were from, of course, the UK who didn't travel for it. And maybe out of insecurity, we're like, oh, it's a meaningless tournament. And even those Chelsea fans were like, actually, it's not. Like, let's go win this, right? But, you know, PSG fans were really into it. Like, there were plenty of other big European fan bases that got really into it. And I do understand some of what the article was saying of like, well, you didn't wear a Champions League badge for 4 years, but you don't wear it for 4 years.
Things change in the world and in football, you know, and it is more and more about marketing. And of course, I've been recently a victim of this changing your mind about tournaments. At the kickoff of the recent European Super Cup, I thought pumped up pre-season friendly. When Spurs thought they were going to win it, really important
in the 85th minute,
really important trophy.
Yeah.
I'll go something else I want to talk about, Alex. Now we've seen. I don't think you'd have to be blind to not notice it. The gradual takeover of the Premier League by American owners, American interests, and American investment funds. We're almost at the point now where they'll have if, for instance, Spurs was to fall into the gentle hands of American owners, that would be 14. They could then put through anything they wanted. We've also seen investment in places like Wrexham and Birmingham. What are wealthy Americans seeing about the Premier League and now beyond, English football in general, that's making them move their money across the Atlantic?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, I will say this as a proud American, but also somebody who's fine taking a pop at an American. If we want it, we try and get it, right? We feel like we are, and I don't think this is true, but like the entertainment hub of the world, right? I mean, one of them for sure. And let's be real, football is the most popular sport in the world.
Increasingly so. That's the interesting thing. I would have thought 10 years ago that the market was flooded, but football keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It just does.
And a big, I think, helper for, you know, these billionaires who are thinking about investing in Premier League clubs and championship clubs is the coverage in America of the Premier League has been really good now for about 12, 13 years, right? If you want to watch a Premier League club, not just Chelsea, if you want to watch Everton, you can do it easily, which I feel bad. Obviously, here in the UK, that's not the case if it's a 3 p.m. game, right? So the coverage is tremendous. And now you see kids with not just Chelsea kits on in America. You see, you know, random clubs. You know, I just met the other day a Leicester City fan in New Hampshire, right? So I think because they can see the popularity is already growing, they're like, well, let's gain control of these clubs. There's a lot of money to be made.
They've got to do something about that 3 o'clock kickoff thing. Charlie, I live only 300 miles to the west. I could watch Spurs and Burnley legally the other day in Ireland, and people in England can't see the blinking football match. What is that about?
Well, I think it's to protect the sanctity of the game, but also if I'm a Torquay fan or a Hartlepool fan and I'm thinking, do I want to go and spend 22 quid on standing in the wind and rain and watching my local club when I can sit here and watch Liverpool v Manchester United 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon?
I understand all the rationales. They're all left over from the last century. This is 2025.
As a lower league fan, I'm all for Saturday at 3 p.m.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Well, but people, I don't think I don't think you would give up Torquay to watch Burnley and Spurs.
I wouldn't, but a child might, and then there's no fans to
Not
come.
your child, it wouldn't be allowed. Where else do we?
Well, Wrexham and Birmingham. The Wrexham and Birmingham ownerships are very famous for two clubs that might not be very famous, have been very famous in America. Now they suddenly are. I've watched the Wrexham story from close up. I've got my friends involved, and when they're in the National League, my team Torquay were playing. I've always said I think the ceiling will be of buying leagues. Not that I think they're doing that, but they are.
You do?
I do. Will come when they hit the Championship, and currently it's proven right. But we're a long way to go.
Yeah, I mean, we got Snoop Dogg in on Swansea. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, it might be a little bit plasticky to some that Tom Brady is now part of Birmingham City. By the way, Tom Brady's my GOAT because I grew up in New England. So I've watched, every snap of his as a Patriot.
You're not still watching the Patriots, hopefully, for your own mental health.
I am watching them, though. Listen, just like here in the UK, if they're your club, they're your club. You know what I mean? Yeah. You live and die by them. But it does kind of help, right? Like when you have Ryan Reynolds' name randomly attached to,
sure.
Of course, they were much lower, not that long ago. It does do something to someone in America who might be a Ryan Reynolds fan, not a football fan, but are like, you know what? If Ryan Reynolds thinks it's worth it, like I think there are plenty of females out there who are probably like, Ryan Reynolds is doing something, like, yeah, I'll watch. So
I'm told, Alex, that you're great friends with Declan Rice.
No.
Okay. No. So that next question, I'm glad I asked because I had a feeling that I would have heard about this elsewhere.
It's a rival player.
Yeah, so we can all agree we don't want Arsenal to win the title then, yeah?
Oh, 1,000%.
Okay, thank you. Charlie, you want to join that little club?
I'm not 1,000% on that.
Listen, it's been a great joy to talk to you. Thank you very, very much indeed. Your place in the programme is perfect because you're going to be the next person coming on. It's like building up. It's the world truck pulling champion.
Well, and logical ascension there.
Well, because my mind, I'm always jumping around what we're doing on the show. When you walked through a door, I thought that very, very svelte, properly slim but muscular young man, he cannot be the world truck pulling champion.
You never know.
It must be Alex. Yeah,
it is me.
It's been great to talk to you. Thank you very much, Alex
Thank you,
Gonzalez. Goldberg. You heard. I'm going to get this right, Danny. Alex Goldberg. You heard his voice a lot during the Club World Cup. Delighted to say he's joined us here in the studio at talkSPORT. Yeah, you're listening to Kelly and Baker on talkSPORT in partnership with Toolstation. This summer, shop Toolstation and the award-winning Hawksmoor lawnmower range in-store, on app or online. Next stop, Toolstation. Right, and the next stop for us is a fantastic achievement, really. The 2025 World Truck Pulling Championship, which was part of a wider tournament for strongmen, has been won by Patrick Eibel. Yeah. He's a German fella, and he joined us online now. Hello, Patrick.
Hello, Patrick.
Hello.
Oh, there's Patrick.
There he is, exactly as imagined, Danny.
Now, exactly. We should say we can see. Some of you who are watching on telly can see that Patrick is in front of a screen. It makes you look like you're on holiday in Hawaii, but I don't think you are. Patrick, tell us about the World Truck Pulling Championship. Most of us, I think, know it. You get harnessed up to a massive vehicle, often fully loaded, and have to pull it how many yards or meters?
It was like 25 meters.
How difficult, I mean, stupid question, how difficult it is for you? Obviously for us, impossible.
I think it was okay, to be honest. It was about 27 tons, but when you're used to it, you can pull it,
Yeah.
I've been looking at pictures of you online this morning in preparation for this, doing powerlifting and other things in the world. How specific is pulling a truck? Do you have to train specifically for it, or just rely on the strength and determination you've developed in the world strongman in general?
So we're doing it really often in the sports, but to be honest, I'm not training it that much. I'm training more in my legs, just you have to have raw leg power like hell, and that helps you a lot.
So you're never skipping leg day, as they say.
I don't.
Which leg exercises are you doing, Patrick?
I love to do squats, and all variations, or like sled pushing or something, sled pulling. So it It's like kind of a little bit like a truck pull.
Yeah. Were you always a big lad, Patrick? Were you always at school? Were you lifting teachers above your head, that sort of thing at school, like lifting children as many as you could above your head, or has it come to you later in life?
I think it was more the ice hockey. I played ice hockey for over 20 years.
Okay.
I mean, seriously, Patrick, what possessed you to get into strongman as a way of making a living, as a profession, as a sport?
Yeah, it was kind of like, like I already said, I played ice hockey for over 20 years, and then I got a little bit into this strength sports world, like kind of lifting a little bit more in the gym and everything. And then I met the ex-boyfriend of my sister again, and he is doing this sports for like 13 years. And he looked at me and he said, like, "Wow, what happened to you?" And he was like, come to our garage for training. And then 3 months later, I was on the first competition.
and a really human question, how much food do you have to consume every day to keep yourself in that kind of strength condition?
Yeah, I like that.
It's like, I think about 4,000 to 5,000 calories.
Yeah.
I'm one of the kind of lighter guys, On the competition, there were guys that were weighing 190 kilograms.
Wow.
Yeah, and is that, do you cook for yourself? Do you have a dietitian? Is it all eggs? Is it all chicken? Is it all fish and chips?
No, to be honest, you have to look after your nutritionist, enough whey, enough protein, enough carbs and everything, but it's not a strict diet.
Must be a great sport to be involved in.
That's the good thing when you're doing strongman, you don't have to watch so heavily after it. It's not like bodybuilding or something.
Let me ask the next question then. Are you allowed to have an occasional beer?
Yes. I love drinking beer. So.
That's great. That's great to hear. As I say, the truck pulling is only part of the wider Strongman Champions League. What are the other big strength events that you have to take part in order to win that?
It can be up to like 70 events, 70 disciplines,
Okay.
Because we have so many variations in the sports. It's like almost every time deadlifting, when it's a normal competition, like not track pulling, this was a little bit special.
Yeah.
It's like lifting heavy stuff up.
The Atlas stones, I always think looks hardest.
Around. carry it around and pressing things overhead. It's really a big spectrum of things you can do.
And the obvious question that when I see blokes lifting massive tractor tyres and turning them over and running down a course doing it, is it actually any fun?
Yeah, it is kind of, It's sometimes horrible, to be honest, but, that's sports,
Yeah. You'll always have a job in the removals business. If the strongmanning goes wrong, you can pull the truck, you can put the piano solo onto the back of the van, all those things. Very, very easy.
Patrick doesn't look like he wants to do that, to be honest. Patrick, there was a time here in Britain where the series called The World's Strongest Man was really major television. People, and now it's kind of disappeared from the screens. What can be done to make the sport, the activity, whatever you want to call it, popular again? Certainly in England, in Britain, it's disappeared a little bit.
It's kind of like in Germany. We had it too on television, but it disappeared there too. It's, I think, in general, a little bit too much pushing the main sports, like soccer or football and all these big sports. And then you have these little sports like strongman or any other sports.
Virtually anything else, yes.
Yeah. I think maybe, these big clubs and big federations like from football have to, a little bit push these tiny sports and give them a chance to grow,
That's a very, very noble thought, Patrick, but I can tell you football in this country at least, and I think it's the same in Germany, they only care about one thing, themselves. But listen, thank you for joining us. Congratulations on your win in the World Truck Pulling Championship. Thank you, Patrick.
Well done, Patrick.
Michael there, everybody, live here on talkSPORT. I got to be honest, obviously there were less choices then, but the World's Strongest Man on television was compulsive. It was absolutely compulsive television.
Bank holiday Monday viewing. There was nothing better. Jeff Capes.
For once, we're not being ironic.
I know Jeff Capes, and I think it was John Paul Sigmarsson with the.
There was a whole load of Icelandic German blokes.
The battle, the Atlas Stones, Danny. When you start,
I know.
When you started off with was it big to small or small to big? I never really knew.
They used to go small to big, but I never understood that because that's where the points went. Because you want to have your strength,
you want to go
big
first.
One first. Yeah,
exactly.
Of course.
That's how we'd have done it.
Already, I was a tactical genius, World's Strongest Man at 12 years of age. But our thanks to Patrick for joining us here on talkSPORT, where on Kelly and Baker we've still got an hour to go. Much more enjoyment for you, I sincerely hope, right here on the mighty talkSPORT. Yeah, a ton of stuff to come in the last hour of today's edition of Kelly and Baker, including Marcus Buckland on the big controversy in professional tennis. We'll be previewing Rangers against Club Brugge, huge Champions League playoff first leg. And Charlie will be telling you, in all seriousness, why the National League is better than the Premier League. That's all after we've had some sports news from Max Scott.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Score a winning hat-trick of performance, payload and price. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Thank you, Danny. Good afternoon. Spectacular news for Spurs, potential problems for Palace. talkSPORT understands the Europa League champions are edging closer to a £60 million deal for Eberechi Eze. But our transfer reporter Ben Jacobs has explained Palace's ongoing search for a replacement is the final piece of the puzzle.
Is having the full deal doesn't mean you can just go and do a medical unless Crystal Palace get another one through the door. And they're negotiating with Leicester City's Bilal Al-Khanous. He's not the only target, but that's what's made this a little bit complicated.
Elsewhere, Lioness super sub Michel Adjumang has rejoined Brighton on loan from Arsenal. For all the very latest transfer news, head to talksport.com. Now, the debate around whether Leeds were right to be awarded a penalty for a handball on Tarkowski rages on. David Moyes was absolutely outraged, but Simon Jordan says managers are as bad as referees.
So the inconsistency that managers deploy to the standards of refereeing is a challenging thing for me, because I understand he's frustrated and I understand he's put on the spot. But I guarantee you, if you reverse that situation and the penalty had been given to Everton, you wouldn't hear Pete from him.
Former Leeds boss Simon Grayson had some mixed feelings about it.
Well, seeing as I'm a Leeds fan, I was quite happy that it did go.
Sure, but it wasn't, was it?
But if you're looking at it, if I'm David Moyes, and I'm disappointed with it, because Tarkowski he's got his hands by his side. Yeah, he's leant into it to probably stop it more with his chest than his arm.
And Hull City have confirmed a transfer embargo the club will put under has been reduced from 3 windows to 2. They were handed the punishment by the EFL in July after making late payments to other clubs. But after a successful appeal, they'll now be able to pay fees for players in next summer's transfer window.
talkSPORT News.
Donald Trump says the UK, France and Germany want to send troops to Ukraine for peace, but the US won't join them. And a report says social media algorithms are pushing self-harm content to young people on a huge scale. More with Emma at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Come rain or shine, we've got your car's inbuilt safety tech covered with expertly trained technicians across the country, so you can drive away happy every time.
Cloudy with some bright or sunny spells, a continued risk of heavy showers across southwest England.
Music brings me just a feeling of dread, unfortunately, Dan. It gets me excited, but also...
Why dread?
Because it's the music they play when Torquay United are about to... It's not their run-out music. No. The music they play when Torquay are about to run.
Oh, they've got pre-run-out music.
Pre-run-out music,
What's the run-out music?
Is Herb Albert, La Banda.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah.
Listen, welcome back to Kelly and Baker. This music will presage today and Thursday, a section that we spent absolutely zero time coming up with the title for, of Baker's Dozen, because I think you've already had something called, one of your shows was called
One of my shows was called Baker's Dozen. I sang the 13 biggest singles of the first 13 years of the...
I've seen some of it. It's very, very funny. It's very, very funny. But it's a chance for Charlie to formalise some of his thoughts. Some of them will be comedy, no doubt, and some of them... This is deadly serious. Charlie wants to tell you, don't count the number of points, everybody. You know, you've been listening to me long enough on the radio. Whenever I say we're going to do top 10 of this, it's only 9, because I haven't worked it all the way through. These are Charlie Baker's top something reasons why the National League is better than the Premier League.
For fans.
Yeah, all right.
Definitely for that. I've got 12, Danny. We'll go with okay. 8. VAR. No VAR.
Well, he's won, hasn't he? That's it. No. Thanks very much. Here's the news and weather.
No VAR. You get a full, authentic fan experience, which involves... It is sport. It is fun,
Celebrating the goal.
Celebrate the goal. Yes, you can celebrate the goal. No matter what massive mistake the referee has made.
Plonker.
And there are a lot of mistakes. If you think the refereeing is bad... in the Premier League, then you wait till you get down to the National League South, Division 6. They don't mean it. They're not trying to get it wrong, I don't think. They're not trying to get it wrong. So you will get sawn off, but do you know what you do? You moan about it, and then you forget about it and you move on. Because it's not gone through 4 different...
I nearly said suck it up, but the thought of sucking up a 6th division referee, I can't... that's not pleasant, is it?
But you do, look, so no VAR. For me, VAR has ruined the game. You can't celebrate a goal. It's taken away the purity of what football is all about, that moment of delirium of losing your mind.
1-0 to
there we are. But, that's a new thing. You see some players that look like you, and you can see them in the street in your local town. Some of the players you look at and you think, I reckon I could play this game.
Yeah, really.
Physically, not so much anymore.
No.
Not so much anymore. It's getting better.
Right.
But what I mean by that is the access. The access to the game is there. The sense of community. Our newest owners at Torquay United said, this is the 3rd point we're on, by the way. Dan.
Yes.
Our newest owner says we're no longer a football club, but we're a cause. We've become a cause for the town.
That?
I love that. Yeah. Torquay has the 2nd highest child poverty in the country. So if you are, you'll never sing that. And if you are in a town like that, a working class town like that, you do need a cause. You need something to get behind as a community, as a group of people, and that's what's happened at Torquay.
Mrs. Kelly was born in Torquay. I can't wait to tell her this fact. Very good.
And so when your team win, it's not just a group of strangers winning. Your town is winning.
Okay.
It feels like more of it. You feel a bit more of ownership to it. 4, the cost.
Bang.
The cost. It is, look, if it sounds a lot of money, I think £19 to £22 to go and watch a National League South game, probably less for some teams. That is accessible for most people. It keeps it in people's pocket so they can go and watch it and enjoy it. I don't know how much a Spurs season ticket is.
Well, the average must be nearly £70 per game now.
Yeah.
And believe me, there are more expensive tickets than that.
Minimum wage, I think, is around £13, £14.
Look,
5 hours work to go and watch Spurs.
Look, you're onto another thing here, aren't you?
Yeah.
The amount of money that football clubs bring in now through sponsorship, kit deals and the television, they could actually, since it is the fans that make the Premier League atmosphere, they could pay us to come and watch the game. Yeah. Truthfully, they could.
We're on number 5. If you shout at the players... Some. I'm not saying offensive things, but if you shout good things and bad things,
yes,
if you're supporting
they can
hear you, Danny.
Yes. Yeah.
And you're sometimes right next to them. You'll get in the picture as they're taking.
You're reminding me of when I was a 14-year-old wag, as I thought I was at football. I was stood up at White Hart Lane when a man called Jerry Armstrong, Northern Ireland International. He wasn't the greatest player, but he came over to take a throw in, and he had to pick the ball up from I was about 3 feet away from him. I thought it entertained the assembled multitude of going, Armstrong, you're rubbish. To which he let fall in, I know, and just carried on with the game.
Even better.
And that made me kind of a coward then.
No.
He whispered to me, I know.
They're real.
And carried on the game. What else you got?
I've got it is a sport. It is not a television programme. If you take kids to it, they feel it. They feel it.
We haven't even got you can drink at the sidelines.
Well, I've stayed off drink. You'll notice none of these involve having a pint while you're watching it.
Well, because when my lamented father-in-law was alive, I used to go to Eastbourne Borough with him, and the joy for someone like spends most of my time in big football grounds of wandering out to the side of the pitch with my pint man to watch the football. That was joyous.
Yeah, it is pretty great. Pretty great. There are a lot of mistakes, no matter how good the teams are, and the levels have gone up and up and up. The level is now really, really good. I think, having watched lots of levels of football, there is always a mistake, which makes it you cannot predict. It's so unpredictable. It is so unpredictable. It makes it joyous because it's random, and randomness is one of the joys of life.
And mistake is a mistake at that level. A mistake in the Premier League is a calamity, isn't
it? Exactly.
It's
still a calamity. I still love the team, and I'm absolutely gutted when it happens. But you see it more often, so I think you probably get used to it.
The level I go to in Ireland, I go with my brother, drags me up to see Bray Wanderers play, and they're in League 2 in the Republic of Ireland. I would say the standard is below what you're watching. And there, the players are really fit, Charlie. So Every goal is either absolute piece of world-class brilliance, which the player will never replicate again in their lives, or typically a defender missing the ball completely.
Yeah. And hasn't that a beauty of its own, Danny?
Of course.
Watching that's exactly what you want. You're watching dreams and journeys and stories as they happen. These aren't players at the top. These aren't teams at the top. If you want to follow a journey for your whole life, start at the bottom and watch a team rise or fall, or a player join you, because the players who join us are either at the start of their career or at the end. And there's a joke in comedy which is you play this gig once in your life, once on the way up and once on the way down. It's good to be back, which is, and that's very much like a National League footballer.
I feel a little bit about the Hawksby and Jacobs show like that.
You still get to enjoy. I think we're about 9. You still get to enjoy the Premier League and England and top-class football. You're not allowed to watch it just because you are a National League fan. So you almost get the double bubble, because you get the passion and glory of following your own team from where you are from, where you were born, where your heartbeat is, where your granddad grew up. You get the passion and glory of that, but you also get to watch these beautiful, amazing players play this game that when you go and watch it live goes, this does not look like the same sport as what I watch week in, week out.
Well, some of that's to do with the arenas as well, isn't it? And I again, every village that has its own football ground, I love that.
Yeah.
Of course, the Spurs Stadium is one of the wonders of the world. But so is the ground that you walk up to, and one end of it is being redeveloped, so there's some sheep on it and all that sort of thing. I love all that.
This is my next point, the weird and wonderful places you go to. I often say the National League South is a tour of the worst towns in Britain. Which you go around and you go, well, this is a terrible place. I bet this has got a National League club.
It's no Torquay, second most deprived place in England, which we shouldn't be laughing about.
I'm not laughing about
Becky
that.
the engineer is absolutely in fits about Torquay. That's really unfair.
You go to some brilliant, brilliant places, and all the clubs are run by real football people who love the game, who love their local community. And these things mean everything. This is my next point. I think we're on about 11. My next point is every pound you put into that club is not going to some corporate conglomerate. It is going to keeping that club running, to keeping that community running.
And 12?
And 12, the crack, Danny. The crack.
CRAIC.
Yeah. Well, some places.
Yeah.
Just how much fun it is. It's just pure fun. And that's why it's better. But then look, I'm not a Premier League fan. If I was born in Islington and I was an Arsenal fan, I'm sure I'd think that was better. But you're born where you're born, and I think that's what I
don't think if you were born in Islington and you were an Arsenal fan, you would be that excited, because they never win any trophies, do they? It's a long, long time since they won a trophy.
Well, there we are.
Unlike their neighbours. Charlie, that was lovely. And real, of course. Everything you say there is true. And the most important point there was, it doesn't mean you can't support Manchester United if you happen to live in some town where you're remote from them. But do go and see your local.
At least go and watch it.
That's the fun of it. And I've got to be honest.
I'm not advocating for 2 clubs. I'm not a 2-club person at all, Danny.
No, of course.
But you can still go and see it.
Yeah, and from my own point of view, I would watch, fat blokes playing in the park as soon as I would watch the Champions League.
We've got them
final.
next week.
Fat blokes playing the part, they're very good, aren't they?
Good side this season.
Provided the game is an equal match, and that both sides got loads of fat blokes. And often now in the Premier League, we're watching where you think one of these teams is going to have to play out of their skin just to keep in this game.
Yeah.
And I don't like that so much. The quality of football, we get all that argument. But when you see a Champions League final, one team wins 5-0, that's not as much fun as watching a good 3-2 between people who are not the best players in the world. That was brilliant, Charlie. Thank you so much.
It's Torquay United versus AFC Tottenham tonight. Get down to Plainmoor.
Okay. And you're listening to... Of course, this all means so much more to you because they were nearly gone, weren't they?
We're nearly gone, Danny. We're nearly gone.
But properly nearly gone, not just pretend... Can somebody please find a tenner down the back of the sofa gone? They were nearly gone.
We're about 2 days away from going.
You're listening to the voice there of Charlie Baker. He's part of the Kelly and Baker International Conglomerate, which you're listening to here on talkSPORT in partnership with Toolstation. This summer, shop Toolstation, an award-winning Hawksmoor lawnmower range in store, on the app and online. Next stop, as they say, Toolstation. Well, it is the typical talkSPORT handbrake turn where we go explaining why the National League is better than the Premier League by returning to the Premier League.
Yes.
Leeds and Everton played last night. Leeds won with a controversial penalty, though I would argue they were the better team anyway. But of course, being the better team and what you deserve in football is nothing. It's only what happens with the outcome that matters. Let's get an Everton view on this. Dave Johnson is from Falcon Blues, the Everton supporters group. He joins us now. Good afternoon, Dave.
Hey, Dave. Afternoon, gents. We all right?
Yeah, good, very, very good. Thanks for joining us. First of all, on last night, I guess I thought Leeds were a better team, but that doesn't matter to a fan when you see yourself getting sawed off by a refereeing decision.
No, it doesn't. I mean, but that shouldn't take away, how bad Everton were yesterday. I mean, we were really, really poor, but the penalty decision, and this isn't the first time Chris Kavanagh's been given Everton the wrong end of the stick. So we've seen it where he sent Ancelotti off against Man United. We've seen the red card against Dominic Calvert-Lewin against Crystal Palace, the handball at Rodri for Man City. I could go on, to be honest with you, but I'd be here all day. But it just feels like sometimes, are we getting the not getting the rub of the green? The penalty decision really last night, you will not see that get given again.
I thought it was a scandal. I'll be honest with you, Dave. I'm not just saying it was a scandal. If that's a penalty, then we're ruined. Because every touch of anybody's arm is a penalty, and the players will learn just to flick the ball up onto people's arms. It was a real shame, I thought, for the game. But you're right, though. Let's concentrate on Everton. A great deal of good feeling around the club these days, I presume, because the new stadium, I've not been to it. It looks amazing, the way it appears to be floating there in the Mersey. But that's a bad start for them, isn't it? Because there was no signs of real progress in the team.
I mean, when you look at the results that we had when Moyes come in, it was just a complete turnaround from Dyche. Last night, we almost reverted back to the way Sean Dyche played his football, on the back foot, soaking up pressure and just allowing teams to just come onto us. But there was just nothing there last night. There was no... Leeds were just direct. And I know it's probably the opening game of the season for them in the Premier League and stuff, so you're going to expect them to be full of adrenaline and just going to charge at you. But Everton should have been more than capable of going toe to toe with that. Yeah. We've been around long enough to know teams from the lower divisions are going to come up and go and have a go at you in the opening few games of the season, and Everton should have been well onto that. And Moyes needs to take a lot of flack for that. I know we're very short on personnel in the defence and stuff, and I thought we dealt with that quite well. But the midfield was just obsolete. And, you're asking him to make changes. You're screaming at the telly. You're screaming at the ground, getting him to make a change. He's not making those changes till 60, 75 minutes. And it's like, well, where do we go? You're not doing anything.
I was supposed to play David's voice into this now, but you've actually started to hit one of the nails on the head. I don't understand modern football unless Jack Grealish has spent the whole of the closed season in a kebab shop. Why on earth would you pay the bloke hundreds of thousands of pounds a week and not start him? I don't get it anymore. I don't get this thing of not playing the new players you get in.
I'd say it's not like you're playing a 50-year-old man. You're playing a young man in his prime. If he's give him 60 minutes from the start. Then,
yes, exactly.
And not bringing on when you're chasing the game. We looked a little bit better in the second half, but in the end, it was to naught. We've lost to a very late penalty, and we probably could have ground out a result, but we probably could have had a bit more about us in the midfield, because that's where we were losing the ball so much, and we had the defence on the back foot all game. Playing from the start, if he starts to flag, bring him off. The only thing I can see a reason why Leeds didn't play Calvert-Lewin, because he'd literally played 30 minutes since January.
Yeah. Different story, different thing.
He's been involved. He's still been involved. He's not had a summer. Okay, we'll give him an hour. He's not an old man. He will be able to play for football for an hour. Do you know what I mean? I can do it. Yeah. and I'm in my 40s. I can go play footy after work for an hour.
Yeah.
Jackson is prime. Give him 60 minutes, 70 minutes.
I thought so.
So you go to the new stadium, the Hill-Dixon Stadium, on Sunday, isn't it? You play your home to Brighton. You'd be hoping to get something out of that. I mean, you look at last night and maybe you think you've been very quiet in the transfer window. David Moyes has said that. He said he needs a few more players, a lot more players. Maybe this last night will be the nudge to the board that this needs to happen sooner rather than later.
Yeah, definitely. But I'd sooner them have made these kinds of sounds out when we're not playing. You know what I mean? Not when we're about to play Leeds. Don't put a side out that is incapable of competing against Leeds. No offense to Leeds, they were excellent last night, but don't do it in the point of where we've now lost 3 points. We've lost a point. We've had a dodgy penalty decision. We should have the side in place, but we haven't. I mean, not just saying this in Moyes' time. Dyche, Ancelotti, Martinez, going back and back and back. We've never had a full squad prepared for the Premier League. You know, we haven't had a right back properly for God knows how long. We still got Seamus Coleman there. Nathan Patterson isn't available. We've got one left back who's now injured. We have no idea what happened to Adam Agnew last night, why he wasn't even available, and we've had to put James Garner as a makeshift left back. It screams of a lack of like being so underprepared. Again, it's not new to Evertonians. We've been around and seen this happen all the time.
Dave, obviously, the opening of the new stadium ought to be a matter of great pride for the club and all the rest of it. I mean, I remember when I first went to the new Spurs stadium, I was almost in awe and there were tears in my eyes because I thought it was such an amazing sort of space station. But I have to be honest, there's still a part of me that absolutely pines for the old White Hart Lane, where so much of my blood, sweat, tears, money and emotion still lies. Do you think you're going to have the same mixed feelings? Because Goodison was, and I'm glad to see that it will still be used, it is such an amazing football ground.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, the new stadium is what the club needed. It's what it needed to move forward. Our park will always be a Goodison Park, always, and we'll always reflect back at that. You know, there's something, I've said it a few times, like, just give me that one moment where I'm watching Jack Grealish or Illiman and die one more time, and I hear all the seats clack up at Goodison Park. That's the sound that is so unforgettable, and you'd bottle that if you could, and you'd keep that. And but that's the kind of atmosphere and the kind of thing that we need to bring back. But it starts by giving us a team that gets us off our feet.
Listen, thank you very much. It's been great to hear your passion and your voice here on talkSPORT. Not the happiest with the early stages of the new season. Dave Johnson there from Falcon Blues, the Everton supporters group, definitely feeling that the board need to get their finger out in the next 2 weeks, but also looking forward to what should be a brilliant game at the weekend when they unveil the new stadium. Let's just say, the way it sort of appears to float, it's somehow, I'm loving the way it looks. I really am. Next up, here on talkSPORT, we'll be doing Paddy's Pick, and we'll also be talking to Marcus Buckland. You rarely hear a lot of mad controversy in the world of tennis, but people are absolutely going mad about something that's happened. We'll report, and Marcus will tell us exactly what's going on very, very soon here on talkSPORT.
some of the best off-camera anecdotes from recent years at the Ryder Cup. As caddy Billy Foster went to relieve himself at the Belfry, he noticed only one of the 2 cubicles had toilet paper. Shortly after he'd sat down, Tiger Woods went into the empty cubicle and realised his mistake all too late. So Foster took some paper, reached under the cubicle with a rescue offering, and as Tiger went to take it, Foster uttered the words, "Europe, one up." Fast forward 10 years to the miraculous Medina. Rory McIlroy overslept and was in danger of missing his Sunday tee time. Thankfully, travel organiser Erica Stoll sorted him a police escort, and 3 years later, McIlroy proposed. Scottish legend Sam Torrance tells many a yarn about the great Ballesteros. Apparently, Seve would regularly give coaching clinics to his European teammates. When the same players asked for help a week later at the Italian Open, Seve would tell them to Having started with a Billy Foster story, let's finish with one from the 12th tee at Oakland Hills in 2004. It was Jimenez and Garcia against Westwood and Clark in a practice round. And as they finished, Foster decided to jump in the buggy and speed away with all their clubs, only to lose control entirely and see it careering towards the spectators. Thankfully, the Red Sea parted and the buggy smashed into a tree, with viewers and clubs still intact.
Paddy's Pick on talkSPORT with Paddy Power. Can you guess who's made the headlines this week? 18 plus, be gamble aware, don't all.
Yeah, just before we do Paddy's Pick, that little bit of music will tell you that we're Oasis bound at 5 o'clock on Drive. Noel Gallagher, fresh from his triumph most recently in Dublin, will be joining the boys on Drive. The flight I came back, Charlie, or came over for on Sunday, was me, and the rest of it was just Oasis fans. Because once the tickets sold out in England, which they did instantaneously, the next nearest places were Stockholm and Dublin. The Dublin gig was hilarious. I said it yesterday on the show. The RTE, the national broadcaster in Ireland, were outside the stadium as the build-up to the gig went on, and they couldn't find a single person with an Irish accent to interview about it.
Oh, right, yeah.
There were just more and more people who'd come over from England. And on the way back, among those we saw, the mighty Peter Crouch was on the with his Oasis bucket hat.
Oh, very nice.
Very good stuff, very good stuff.
You'd see up there, could you?
Well, I'm pretty tall myself, but it is startling how
Is he tall sat down, Peter? Has he got a long body?
Is
he all leg?
He must have been in the front row of the seat of the aeroplane, because otherwise he'd have to sit across 3 seats. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Now, all this is just putting off Paddy's Pick with Paddy Power, UK only, 18 plus, gambleaware.org, etc. And it's time for Paddy's Pick with our official betting partner, Paddy Power. Charlie, you know this, but I'm reminding myself.
Yes.
I'll be asking Charlie to identify a mystery sports personality who has made the news headlines in the past week and is Paddy's Pick of the week. Charlie, you'll get 5 clues to work out who it is. We start with £50 in the pot, and for every clue you use without a correct answer, £10 gets taken away. Paddy's Pick is all for charity, and we're raising funds for the Rowcroft Hospice, a South Devon charity delivering life care and support to over 2,000 patients and their loved ones each year. So that's fantastic. So if you're ready, let's play Paddy's pick. Now, Andy,
good luck, Danny. Good luck.
Well, the thing is,
it's me. I know you don't have to just read it out.
I did this. I just had to read out this piece of paper. Yeah, but I did. I did test myself.
No tension music.
I did test myself.
Oh, let's see if you get it.
I got it on the 5th clue, so I expect you to do better. Okay. Here we go. Deep tension music, please. This week's pick. Louder tension music, please. This week's pick is a Premier League forward who helped his side to a winning start last weekend.
Narrows it down.
Well, name one and you might get it.
Chris Wood.
Correct. Well done, sir. £50 for charity for the...
Yes, for the Rowcroft.
Yeah, for the Rowcroft there in Devon.
I nearly said Richarlison.
No, quite.
I said the right one.
I didn't get it until the last clue, which is he's an international catcher with 44 goals and 89 appearances since 2009, which gives the game away.
Yes,
with
very
Chris
nice.
Wood. Ladies and gentlemen, will please be upstanding for the man that is. There he is, Charles Baker, Esquire, straight in, 50 quid. Which means we got a whole lot of stuff to do.
We've got to chat now.
Yeah, let me first of all say that well done. That's raised raised £50 for the Rowcroft Hospice this week. Thanks to our friends at Paddy Power, the official H&J betting partner. 18+, begambleaware.org.
Paddy's pick on talkSPORT with Paddy Power. Can you guess who's made the headlines this week? 18+, begambleaware.org.
Actually, we don't have to chat because Marcus Buckland is already there, which gives us more time to talk about. I hope I'm not overdoing this, but there is an actual furore going on in professional tennis, which normally to me looks like a mill pond of people go, they play tennis, they earn tons of money, everyone claps politely. Fantastic work. Welcome, Marcus. How are you?
Hi, Marcus.
Hey guys, straight away, it is not a mill pond. Oh, there's all sorts of dark, demonic things happening just under the surface.
Well, I did enjoy the story a couple of weeks ago with Emma Raducanu, with the racket not being strung properly and having to send it back in the middle of the game and all stuff like that. But in all seriousness, tell us what's going on. We'll talk about Yannick Sinner in a second, but tell us what's going on in the world of mixed doubles, which is normally, let's be honest, at the back of people's priority when they think about professional tennis. But what's coming up, and you'll tell us the event and all the rest of it, Marcus, is causing a fair deal of friction.
It is, yeah. Basically, what is happening today and tomorrow in what is Fans Week at the US Open, the main event doesn't get going until Sunday, but 16 teams are competing in this star-studded mixed doubles event. You've got 8 wildcard teams, which allow the organisers to bring in the very best players in the world. And you've got 8 other teams who get in on the basis of their combined singles ranking. So 2 big issues. On one side, you've got people saying this is great. It's shining a light on an event that normally would pass most people by. And you've got those on the other side who say that it's showing a complete disregard for doubles specialists. And it's up to everybody to decide what they think.
But part of the issue seems to be that the prize money last year in this event for the doubles specialist was $200,000, and the prize money for this is $1 million.
Yes, which obviously is a very nice little added bonus for whichever team comes through at the end of 2 days. There are 16 teams, as I've mentioned. The scoring system has changed as well. They're playing best of 4 game sets. There is a sudden death point. You'll play a tie break at the end of each set, and if required at the end of the 3rd set, a match tie break to 10 points. So it's very different from the usual situation. And again, a lot of people are saying, look, okay, this is different. It's novel, but it's not really worthy of getting a Grand Slam title at the end of it all. I mean, I can see the arguments on both sides, boys. I really can. But the problem with doubles is it does not attract the superstars as it used to back in the day.
Yes.
I mean, well, Danny and I were youngsters. You had a lot of big names playing in the doubles, and for obvious reasons now, because of all the pressure on the singles players and the lengthy matches, etc., they're not prepared to risk their body in doubles as well. Here's an opportunity now you would have had up until 10 minutes ago when it was confirmed that Yannick Sinner is not going to play, the world #1 involved. You've got Carlos Alcaraz and Emma Raducanu up against Jack Draper and Jessica Pegula, which obviously is going to attract a casual audience, as well as your tennis superstars. So I see what they're trying to do. I also get the frustration of the double specialists who feel that they are totally missing out.
Well, Marcus, actually, if I'm discussing this prior to the show with Charlie takes an altogether different view, and that is tennis is part of the entertainment industry. And if they're going to get this kind of money and attract people, then the specialists will have to suck it up. Is that a fair summation of your view?
That show business was my actual words, Danny. I just think if you want eyeballs on the sport, we're talking about it. The sport isn't always talked about in all sports media, and to get the eyeballs on the event and onto tennis, something needs to be done. I think I follow tennis very closely. Actually, I've really enjoyed the tournament in Cincinnati. Swiatek, who won Wimbledon, her first Wimbledon. I thought she's a great champion. I always find it fascinating that they play on different surfaces. I can't think of another sport where they play on a different surface. So to take
American football,
to take your skills from one to another one is really impressive. And I think the men's game possibly had a problem, when with the three greats retiring or nearly retired. So for the Alcaraz-Sinner partnership and that rivalry to come through is absolutely incredible for the sport. And so to get eyeballs on it with this new tournament is a good thing, I think.
I see your argument, Charlie. I really do, and I absolutely concur with that. Equally, I can see if I'm a double specialist. And okay, you're right. They don't necessarily attract the sort of they don't attract the publicity of the big superstars, but they're still involved in making a livelihood for themselves. And suddenly they are being shunted out of one of the 4 major tournaments of the year. And by the way, the Australian Open, the last I heard, have made it pretty clear that they're not going to go down this route. It will be interesting to see if down the line this is what Wimbledon, perhaps French Open, and Australia will think is the way forward too. I do agree. It is providing some extra interest, publicity, etc., etc. The one thing I would say, though, this is a Grand Slam, and a Grand Slam title, be it a singles title, a doubles title, or a mixed doubles title, really should mean something.
Yeah, I will say I didn't know that.
Over 2 days will do that.
I didn't know that, Marcus.
That's the part
for a glorified exhibition, which is sort of it is. It shouldn't have a Grand Slam. That is part of the part that's called
sort of giving me a hangnail just thinking about it. This will suddenly be in the record books. Marcus, let's move forward to the actual US Open. We've seen the Jannik Sinner withdrawing from the Cincinnati Open through illness. Will this affect what we imagine will be the next instalment of the Alcaraz-Sinner? Well, it's becoming a brilliant saga now, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, Charlie was absolutely right. Once the likes of Federer and Nadal and Djokovic, who is still playing, of course, left the scene, there was going to be a huge gap. These two have been extraordinary. They have been the dominant force. Obviously, Sinner was extremely unwell yesterday. 23 minutes. What did he win? 9 or was it 8 of the 29 points? I mean, obviously there was something wrong with him. I'm not surprised that he's pulled out of the mixed doubles today. I would be surprised if he's not. If not fully fit, certainly fit and raring to go come Sunday or Monday or Tuesday when he has to get his campaign underway. And yeah, those two, at the moment, I'm afraid they're streets ahead of everybody else. So assuming Sinner's quite fit, he'll get through those early rounds, you would think. And again, they'll be contesting the big prize. There are still others in there. I mean, Jack Draper got to the semi-finals in New York last year. Let's not forget him. Hopefully he's back fully fit again. Novak Djokovic, while he's there, while he's playing, I keep saying it every single tournament, while he's still there, he loves to prove everybody wrong, and you could never completely write him out. But those guys at the moment have taken the sport to another level.
Yeah, the physicality now is unbelievable. Absolutely.
And yet they can play every day.
I know, and they play every day for 4 hours, and then they do a full workout before they play.
Yeah. Well, it's just like us, isn't it?
Incredible. Exactly.
Well, maybe like you and Charlie, to be fair. Listen, thank you so much, Marcus, for giving us the inside track and everything that's going on there, and for whetting our appetites for the upcoming US Open, much of which you'll be able to keep you across here on talkSPORT, where for the final time, let me remind you, you're listening to Kellyanne Baker in partnership with Toolstation. This summer, shop Toolstation and award-winning Hawksmoor lawnmower range in store, on the app and online. Next stop, Toolstation. guess what this is about? The NFL returns to Wembley in October as the Los Angeles Rams take on the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we have a huge competition to win VIP tickets. Now listen to this. We're giving you the chance to win 6 seats in a private box at Wembley Stadium with full hospitality plus $5,000 spending money. That's opened your ears up, hasn't it? Here's how to enter.
18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word cash to 83338 and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission or enter for free by calling 0330 880 3338. All entries must be received by 25th August at 11 p.m. This is a talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. See talksport.com for terms and conditions.
Yeah, this is a really, really big couple of days for Scottish football. Champions League qualifiers, Europa Conference League qualifiers for Celtic and Hibs. But tonight, the big game is the first leg of the playoffs to get into the whatever that league thing is called now in the Champions League. Rangers are at home to Club Brugge. And to help us preview that, comedian and Rangers fan Roscoe McClellan joins us. Good afternoon, Roscoe.
Hey, Roscoe.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How you doing?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Well, we're really good, but probably not as excited as you are.
Yeah, well, you know, it's a big game for Rangers. You know, I mean, a big money game. Do you know the disparity in what you get from just getting into the Champions League versus dropping down into Europa League is huge, especially for us right now. Although I will say, do you know what I mean? I heard the competition you've got about the NFL, and it's the first time my ears have ever picked up because I was hoping it was the San Francisco 49ers who'd be playing and I would have maybe entered because that's all I care about.
It's nearly always Jacksonville in London, isn't it? For some reason, well,
yeah.
Well, the owner has a London football team.
I think so.
The rest of it, of course.
Your Edinburgh show is called How Could Hell Be Any Worse? And last time you were on, Roscoe, because I tell you how it could be worse is if you have a 3-1 lead overturned after the first leg of whatever tournament you were playing in last time. It nearly happened. You did your best, but you got through, and here we are going again.
Yeah, that's it. Rangers managed to scramble over the line against Victoria Pilsen there.
Yeah, that was it.
And it's been a rough start to the season, but like Russell Martin said, he said one of the staff at Rangers said we're turning a tanker around here, so I'm willing to wait and see.
He definitely said
what direction
tanker.
We're facing. He definitely said tanker. Yeah. He definitely did. Yeah.
Ross, Roscoe, have you noticed the similarity between the aforementioned Russell Martin and my colleague here, Charlie Baker? If Charlie grew his hair another 2 inches, he's the same man.
He's thrown at me a bit, but
they're both handsome men.
Thanks, Roscoe. That's kind. That's kind.
It's the big beard, isn't it?
I think I could give it a go managing Rangers at the moment. I could give it a go, and I reckon I could have got 2 draws.
So you might get a shot after the next few weeks.
The interesting thing about this, Roscoe, is that Club Brugge are absolutely regulars in one of the top 2 competitions in Europe. They've got the experience. They know what they're doing. But Russell Martin, I'm not suggesting he doesn't know what he's doing. What I'm saying is, who knows what Rangers we're going to get? If it clicks, they're passing out from the back and all the rest of it, they could... What I'm saying is, the unknown factor about Rangers is their biggest chance, I think.
Yeah, and I think this is interesting tonight, especially because I can't even remember his name. I've been so busy, but we've just got the boy on loan from he's a Brentford player, isn't he? And he played under Russell Martin at Southampton, and I think the left back position has been a bit of a sticking point so far this season. So he's brought him in, he's put him in the squad, made the change today. So we'll have a left back who knows what system he's trying to play tonight. So it might actually be a bit of an incredible move for him to do that.
And of course, it is kind of a cliche that people of my disposition reel out. Of course, the crowd at Ibrox, indeed any of the big Scottish grounds, ought to be a huge advantage. Or is there a nervousness these days, Roscoe, that makes that not quite as true as it used to be?
Well, during the league, certainly you can hear, because going to the league games can sometimes be quite tough because you can hear the crowd getting on the players' backs for a misplaced pass. But European nights, it feels different. European nights at Ibrox hits different, baby. So people have said before. And listen, Rangers, we're terrible in domestically. We're not terrible. We've been ropey domestically for a few years, but we've punched well above our weight on the European stage. So honestly, tonight, I think we're going to do them. I think it's going to be an incredible result for Rangers tonight.
Jaden Meghoma is the left back you've just signed from Brentford. Played under.
Thank you for that piece of research, Charlie.
Thank you, very nice. While you were talking,
untypical.
I also noticed that in the background on your screen, you have the words "Papua New Guinea pig." Can you talk us through that joke? Or?
Yes, yes, I can actually. It's in the show. I didn't think the camera would pick that up. But...
No, we've been really staring at it.
Trying to work out what the joke is.
Yeah, it's about the Anzac campaign in World War One in Gallipoli. Because I'm quite an enlightened fellow. 'Cause I was out in New Zealand and I learned that they had Islander regiments and I was saying that they sent them in first. Do you know what I mean? As kind of Papua New Guinea pigs.
Very nice. It's a great joke.
What a preview for his
fantastic
show in
joke. Papa's got a brand new guinea pig. That's what I was thinking. That's the.
And then when they didn't come back, they sent in Samoa. So,
he's good, isn't he? Isn't he good?
Doubling down.
So good, Roscoe.
No. When everybody here, Roscoe was saying, "Don't get him on. He's not funny." Charlie stood up for you and said, "No, he is a funny bloke." And
that isn't true.
And there we're getting it.
I think you're funny, Roscoe, but no one was moaning.
Listen, I hope the show in Edinburgh goes as well as that joke, which will be very good indeed, and that you get a bit of luck tonight at Ibrox. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers, Roscoe.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Roscoe McClellan there, not playing down Rangers' chances, which is good. I don't think they need to do that at all, because in Europe they've completely punched differently than they do in the Scottish League over the past couple of seasons. Indeed, it's Rangers' achievements in Europe that have given the two sides the best chance of getting through, because they've changed the qualification. They've got the coefficient points for the Scottish teams. Charlie, that's been a hectic 3 hours.
Wow, I've enjoyed it, Danny.
Really enjoyed it, and enjoyed your part in it as well, particularly the showing off at the start about your cricket prowess.
Oh, well, let's call it showing off. Yeah, it was showing off.
No, absolutely. Well, there's nothing wrong with showing off. In my showing off should be an Olympic event, in my opinion. Okay, thank you all for listening to us for the last 3 hours. Drive is coming up next. It's been a joy. Tomorrow it's me and Andy Jacobs returns. God bless you all and good afternoon.